I only allow you, Zaz, to pick one game and one game only, and you have to be right. What was the best game of the weekend of any kind?
For the second week in a row, the game that I was at, Tennessee, Georgia.
Greg Cody, what was the best game of the weekend?
The game that I was at, coincidentally, Dolphins, Patriots.
Chris, what was the best game of the weekend?
The game I was at, Cyclones, Warriors, Friday night.
Really?
Yeah, it's hard to disagree with that.
Mike Ryan.
Best tie in highlight history.
Mike Ryan, you're not going to say, surely you're not going to say the same thing, and surely you're not going to say the University of Miami game.
Well, since that's off the board, it wasn't a game that I went to, but I was locked in on all 80-plus points of Texas A&M Notre Dame.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. Jeremy, what was the best game of the weekend?
The game that I was at, Marlins-Tigers, Game 2. 11 innings, Troy Johnston walk-off, his second homer of the game. You kidding me?
Billy, what was the best game of the weekend?
Oh, Dan. It's been since 2016. The Don Shula Trophy is back at FIU, the Shula Bowl.
Congratulations.
I can explain my game for you.
How the hell can you guys not have Cowboys Giants on your list?
Well, you didn't go to the Shula Bowl.
Cowboys Giants. Russell Wilson just had a career game and
What a
lost.
game.
Let me tell you about my game, though. It's Le Batard Show versus Ray Lewis.
Yeah.
I mean,
Wow.
you put the kids to bed.
Did you get in his face?
Well, you don't even bring the kids because I'm drinking the whole time.
Oh.
It was a draw, wasn't it?
Best draw in highlight history.
But it was a comeback draw.
Was Ray there?
Well,
It was.
I mean, there's just shadow show. We'll devote 15 minutes to it later in the show, right?
The best game of the weekend was Cowboys and Giants.
Definitely
Did you go to that
Tennessee.
game?
But the highlight game
Come
went
on,
so
guys,
well.
Marlins.
Tennessee has never been
Troy Johnston.
These guys aren't unbelievable. About to go down. 90-yard kickoff right before that.
And now he's in the big leagues. It's 2 home runs. You know, they call Troy Johnston the barista because he makes a really Madagascar.
It's really delicious again. Thanks for Willie Simmons. Willie Simmons in the race, but his family, they came out and lightning up their ass. Shot out of a cannon.
And he still put up
21 points in the third quarter. Fourth quarter.
They got to within 6 points of the wild card. That's not going to happen. But it was
Wet field. There was a heavy free ball.
You know they beat
They jumped down deep. That Don Shula Trophy is not leaving South Dade Kia Field at Pitbull Stadium. That's staying right here. That thing is coming home. It is staying home. And then they rip that thing right off that trophy. And they stomp the shit out of it. Because that's what you do at the Shula Bowl. You rip off the helmet, and you destroy the opposing team's helmet, and you rip it off the trophy. And that thing's not going anywhere for a year.
Football is back, Jack. Oh my, we've waited for so long. We're so damn excited that we put it in a song. Don't need no check downs. Give me big hits and quarterbacks. Keep your fantasy team from falling off the track. Football is back, Jack. Whether on the ground or through the air. When the chips are down and you throw a prayer. When your team is primed and on the hunt. It's 4th and 10, you refuse to punt. When the shoulder pads and helmets crack, that's how you know that football is back, Jack. Let me hear you say football is back, Jack. This high is wild and out of control. And we're gonna ride it every week till we reach the Super Bowl. Don't need no check downs. Give me big hits and quarterbacks. If you say this game's the best, I'll say it's a gag. Football is back, Jack. Football is back, Jack. Football is back.
forgot to turn on the narcissist cam so that you could see how delighted Greg Cody was watching himself lip sync poorly.
Yep, really bad.
I don't know where to begin today on what was the most important thing from yesterday. I think it's going to be Joe Burrow's injury. It might be the Chiefs starting 0-2. I'm going to get some nominees from you guys in a second. But first, can we just eliminate the games I don't have to talk about from yesterday to make this a little bit easier? Because that 1 o'clock window was crack cocaine. Did you guys notice in the 1 o'clock window, any of you notice this? I, throughout it, was watching and I was like, what's weird about this other than the nine games? There's something weird about this, and I couldn't figure out what it was. I just sort of felt it, and then they gave the stat on television. The Giants and Cowboys haven't played at 1 o'clock in 20 years.
Really?
They've never been. Yeah, I couldn't figure out what. Like I'm like, this is 9 games. This is 9 games, and that part's confusing to have this much going on. But also, I couldn't figure out what looked wrong, and it's that the Giants and Cowboys are too big as markets and important to ever demote like that. And I thought they played the best game, although I'm tempted to say Jacksonville-Cincinnati, because that is as inexplicable a loss I've ever seen from a team that was better throughout the game, that did just the assortment of things that the Jags always do to lose games. But what games can I eliminate?
Cardinals, Panthers, get out of here.
Yep.
Sunday Night Football sucked.
Yeah, bad game
Bad
last
one.
night.
Yeah.
Out of here.
Atlanta, pretty good, though. Atlanta Falcons.
I disagree.
Pretty good.
I disagree. I say Minnesota's got a quarterback problem, but we'll figure that out as we go. You guys
Seahawks-Steelers wasn't very good.
Well, that one's got some interesting stuff, though, and I'd eliminate Ravens-Browns before I eliminated that. I'm tempted to eliminate Bills-Jets, but I can't for a couple of reasons. Just a couple. One, and I know you guys have seen this before, but it bears repeating because it's a little bit crazy that Josh Allen is this as a human being. Sauce Gardner had him lined up unblocked from the blind side. Josh Allen knows he's so big that he just spun out of it. And Sauce Gardner looked like a toddler trying to tackle the upper body of Josh Allen. To see a quarterback spin away from a blindside, unblocked corner who's got him squared up and hits him in the back of the shoulders. And to see the size of that roll out just in that game, explain to me again why the Bills are going to own that division because none of the teams in there compare to the Bills. And the Dolphins are about to start 0-3. But also in that game, a worthy stat of the day, if we were doing that today. The Bills have now won the turnover battle with Josh Allen, who was super reckless at the beginning of his career, 24 straight times. It hasn't happened since 1966. Like, they're the best team ever with Josh Allen at quarterbacks for the most consecutive times, almost a couple of seasons, of they always win the turnover battle, and it's just not something I could have seen coming 3 years ago.
Look, I don't have skin in this local market game when it comes to pro football, but we firing a coach or what during this show?
Thank you for that, because Zaslow on Twitter was going crazy yesterday.
Why do I even do that? Like, why? I don't lose sleep in the Dolphins. I don't. Like, that emotional part of my fandom with the Dolphins does not exist anymore. I lost that a while ago. This team beat it out of me, all right? But it's 2 weeks in a row now that, like, I'm melting down on Twitter with this stupid team that I know is terrible. Why am I doing this?
Well, hold on, because Greg Cody has a different opinion
They're
than
so
you.
stupid.
But you are tweeting nonstop during the performance. Pathetic performance from Tua. Same story. Nice stats throughout the game. And then with the game on the line, he was horrendous. There it is. Under 1.5 drives until the boos come down. Cashes in. Tua is terrible. Completely cooked. Horrific team, says Zaslow.
All facts, by the way. I mean, like, I'm melting down, but it's all facts.
How about Achane stay in bounds?
Okay.
I mean, Tua led him perfectly to a game-scoring drive, and Achane, no spatial awareness, runs out of bounds, costs the team the game.
That was
that
crazy.
Guy.
You're so,
You have to be wondering where his safety is on this roster.
Yeah, because I'm sure they would have
Achane.
stopped them when they got the ball back. That would have happened.
So hold on, Greg. I know you have a different perspective on this. Achane has been great. Achane has been great the first 2 weeks of the season. Achane has been great at the goal line the first 2 weeks of the season, but that was rather inexplicable. Those touchdowns are hard to come by, except in the Pittsburgh game, where a Pittsburgh kickoff returner decides that he forgets the rules and should have been fired on the spot. The touchdowns are hard to come by, and Achane stepping out of bounds there is as clumsy as an athletic person.
He had
can
so
be.
much room.
Didn't Antonio Brown have this happen to him one time in a 100-yard kickoff return where he would have won the game in the snow, but he stepped out of bounds at like the 8-yard line, and you're like, that's just clumsy. There was no one who was going to do anything to him there.
Brandon Marshall did it one time with the Dolphins, like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Just inexplicably, just kind of stepped out of bounds. There was no one there.
It happens. It's not like he did it on purpose. But I'm glad to see that Le Batard was able to rent that plane. What did it cost you? Like just under $2,000, I heard, right? Like $1,900 or
Banner's
something like
the first home game of the season. Patriots go right down the field and score. That
Like it's
defense,
nothing.
that defense is going to be historically bad. That is not a good Patriots offense. That's a bad Patriots offense. I know that 14-0 touchdown. Or I'm sorry, 12-0, because Borgalis was trying to help the University of Miami and the city of Miami to make it 12-0. That second touchdown.
Oh, you think there was some shadiness going on there?
Well, hold on a second.
Time to throw away all journalistic credibility and get reckless. Here is something we like to call reckless speculation.
Yeah, you're good.
You're good.
Borgalis, outside of Carlos Huerta, was the best University of Miami kicker I trusted the most. To see him miss 2 extra points that close was super confusing to me. But the touchdown that made it 12-0 was a thing of beauty. Drake May lobbing a little parabola over there on 3rd and long to make the catch. The Patriots, when I'm watching this game, I'm thinking to myself, my God, everything that's happening in this game is exactly the things that happen to a coach who's under it and going to get fired, because at the end of the game, they're just a little less disciplined than Vrabel's team. They do the stupid things of the false start, the delay of game.
Oh, it was awful.
You put it in 2nd and 20, you can move. And here's the thing about this. This one is the one that really hurts, okay? I know that everyone is focusing today on the lack of discipline on the last drive. The greatest advantage that Miami's supposed to have, the only way they beat Josh Allen, is to exhaust him in the heat. At the end of that game, when they're tired, is when their discipline's supposed to go. When they're tired. It's not supposed to happen to you when you're training all offseason in this heat. The advantage is that this season is over, Greg. They're not going to rebound from 0-3.
I dare you to counter it, Greg. I
they're
double
not.
dare you.
They're not going to be the team that rebounds from 0-3 to make the playoffs.
Right.
And by the way, it's going to be
Probably
an 0-3 that they lose by 50 in 3
Hold
nights.
on a second. That
probably
game hasn't
not.
been played yet. We don't know what's going to happen
Yeah, we do.
Thursday.
Well, Buffalo's won 15 of the last 17 meetings, so I don't like their chances on a short week. But not to play the voice of reason here, but somebody has to, okay? At 0-2, I don't write them off yet. At 0-3, I don't write them off yet. Although, realistically, if I'm a betting man, of course, I'm betting against them making the playoffs at 0-3. They obviously played better yesterday than in the opener. It's a low bar. They couldn't do any worse than they did at Indy. But I think Tua to Tyreek looked more like 2023 than they have the past season plus.
Except on the one bad throw that Tua made that he needed to make. He only had 5 incompletions, but 2 of the passes were backbreakers. Because Tyreek Hill is wide open. Took himself out of the game on an important drive. He was so frustrated because Tua missed him when he was wide open.
Well, on that long completion, he horribly
It was a terrible, the 47-yard completion was actually a terrible throw.
And he had an interception in the first quarter called back because of a penalty that had nothing to do with the interception.
Right, but the interception didn't come.
But it was an awful throw to start the game.
Tua didn't have a great game. He had a much better game than in the opener. I thought Tua's performance was encouraging. The problem is the defense is so
How can you do that,
bad.
Dad? I don't want to do this and just jump down your throat, but he looks so rattled in the pocket, even on the plays that go well. He just is I don't know if it's all the concussions he's had, but he's frantic in the pocket.
Hold on, guys, because 5 incompletions, 300 yards, and he could have won the game at the end. And I
It's
understand.
all screen passes.
And he has never looked this bad.
I am not disagreeing.
I love Tua, but he has never looked this bad.
He's cooked.
I'm not disagreeing, but if you guys are making this about Tua, give them that point total all season and watch them lose all the games because the defense cannot stop anybody. Like the Patriots are really bad offense. Daniel Jones now has 2 Colts games, with no turnovers and no punts, twice as many of those in his Colts career as Peyton Manning. Daniel Jones did this to the Dolphins right down the field with an offense that appears to be good. The Patriots just did it to the Dolphins with an offense that is empirically bad, one of the worst in the league.
Here's the thing, though, and I got some of this on Twitter from Dolphin fans yesterday where I'm angry with Tua, and I've been a Tua guy. I'm angry with Tua because I know what I see, and this is a quarterback who is not any good anymore. So I'm angry about that. But here's the thing, and I feel like you just alluded to it as well. The Tua thing is so much, yes, there are several reasons why this team is terrible right now, but the only one that really matters is Tua, because the defense can be terrible. Guess what? They could fix that in the next year. The coach can be terrible. Guess what? They could fix that next year by firing him. If Tua's terrible, there's no fixing it. Like, it's a major, major issue. So when I talk about Tua being bad, yeah, there's a lot of other things that are really bad with this team right now, but long term, we can fix those things. If Tua's terrible, there's no fix.
Yeah, Tua was not terrible yesterday. He was actually pretty good. The defense lost that game, and special teams lost that game. If you think Tua and the offense were to blame yesterday, you didn't see the game I saw. The defense is terrible. They've had 15 series, opposing series this year, and allowed 13 scores. In 15 series, they had 2 stops. Hallelujah! The defense is awful. The cornerbacks are awful. The offensive line was awful before it became injury-prone. Those are the Achilles heels of this team. The pass defense led by bad cornerbacks and the offensive line that can't have a running game. Achane can't run the ball yet. He's done very well coming out of the backfield catching screen passes, so that pads his stats. But they're an egregiously flawed team. But yesterday, Tua and that offense were not the problem. They outgained the Patriots.
All right. I appreciate Greg's perspective here because it's certainly more interesting than all of us being like, this team's garbage, fire everybody. But we can see that you're a little bit more bullish on their chances and the season's not over. But that was still a really bad loss to a team that no
Agreed.
one... I mean, maybe some people have pegged the Patriots as a sleeper team, but the Dolphins entered this season with the hope and expectation that they would be better than Mike Vrabel's first year in New England.
Yes.
Okay? You had banners flying over the stadium. We set the scene up perfectly. This was as toxic as it's been around the fan base in quite some time. They have that performance. They lose the home opener. Should something be done about this team, either front office, head coach, roster move? Does someone pay the price because the fan base has found this sort unacceptable?
Yeah, there's no doubt that they expected to be 2-0 right now. And they were favored to win yesterday, albeit by 1.5 or 2. There's no question that it's been a major crash, a dumpster fire of a start. Somebody will be fired if it continues. And
You think midseason?
It's possible.
Answer his question.
But you're not there yet.
Answer his question.
No one pays for what's happened so far.
No, after 2 games, no, I'm not there yet.
The reason that I'm stopping you is because of a couple of things. One, you say that's their Achilles heel. They are simply an Achilles heel. What isn't an Achilles heel for this team? Go ahead. I'm waiting.
They have above-average receiver room. Tua's coming off a good game, no matter what you say. A 317-yard game.
You cannot
with
say,
great accuracy.
but you can't say that Tua is one of the strengths right now. The whole team.
Did you say great accuracy?
Yeah.
He missed like 4 passes, like the deep one, the one over Tyreek's head in the middle of the field when he's wide open.
He missed a total of 5 passes.
No, he had 5 incompletions, and they're protecting him even more than they've had to protect him. It's not a good thing when against that team at home. Okay, you have no margin for error. against the Patriots,
Right.
no margin for error. You have to do everything perfectly. Part of the problem with the architecture of this team is that it has to do everything perfectly. Everything has to come out quickly. Everything has to protect Tua.
Right.
When you say they're Achilles heel, they are an Achilles heel. When I compare that to the University of Miami game, I am not prisoner of the moment when I say that is the most balanced football team I have seen at the University of Miami in a long time. The Dolphins are the opposite of that. Flaws all over the place.
Right.
Flaws we can all know, and a historically bad defense, okay? Daniel Jones has started his career with no punts in a game and no turnovers in the first 2 games. That is historically
the front
good.
The defensive front 7 is passably okay. Chubb has 2 sacks in 2 games. Let's fine tune it. It's the cornerback play that is a killer. It's the offensive line that is a killer. When you say they have an Achilles heel everywhere you look, that's not accurate. They have a quarterback you can win with. They have a better-than-average receiver room, even though they botched their tight end situation. And
Greg, you think something about the quarterback that is less certain than just about anybody right now.
Okay, but they're headed into this game against the Buffalo Bills, which Dan already highlighted. They look like an absolute wagon. We said this was basically a Waterloo game for all the powerful players in this franchise. They are not favored to win this game against Buffalo. Do you look around and say, this is the right group of men, either in leadership positions or on the field, to be like, yeah, okay, we can save our season here against the Buffalo Bills? Because if they didn't win that game against New England with the way that the tide was rising around them, how do you think they can figure it out for Buffalo?
Greg, Zaz speaks for the fan base.
I know he does, and I speak for myself. And what I think is that, and I've said and written this forever, so this is not new from me. If the Dolphins don't make the playoffs, they have massive changes. Greer gets fired, McDaniel gets fired. That's a 99% certainty. The only question is when. After the Bills, which everyone expects them to lose, they have a home game against the Jets, and then they play at the Panthers. If they come out of these first 5 games 0-5 or even 1-4, I think there could be a firing, an in-season firing, which is uncharacteristic. It hasn't happened in years. I don't think it's what Ross wants to do, but I think by 5 games in, the toxic surrounding this team will be too much to bear.
I want to go back to Tua for a moment here and something that you said, because obviously Tua was a lot better yesterday than he was in week number 1. But, you mentioned how Tua's performance yesterday was encouraging. We're not in year number 2 with Tua.
Right.
This is year 6.
Yeah. He made the Pro Bowl 2 years ago, I'd remind you.
But he also looked a lot better 2 years ago than he does now, which is the concern. Like, he does not look like he used to 2 or 3 years ago. And I think that's why people are saying he doesn't look good, because he doesn't look up to the standard that we have set for him or that he set for himself.
Fair. That's the part, Dad, that's frustrating for me, is it seems like you're just like, I made this prediction, so no matter what I see on the field, I'm just going to say it. They're technically not done yet. It's what I'm seeing, because I'm with you. They could have won yesterday's game. They could be 1-1 right now. I don't think anyone's really arguing, like, yes, this team could be a 7-9 team, but like what I'm seeing from Tua, that it doesn't look like it used to. Something seems off with him. You don't see that?
Greg is reasonable, and he is applying the perspective you can almost all around the league for somebody like the Chiefs today if you want to. You can talk yourself into something. The thing about the Dolphins that makes it hard is, after week 1, nationally, everyone in the country was saying that's the worst performance that there was week 1. It's the way that they are losing. If you're a coach in trouble, those 2 games are the disaster. And what do you need at the end to be 1-1? You need your $250 million quarterback to once give you a game-winning drive where you trust him. Because I don't have a lot of those, Greg. I don't have a lot of, at the end of the game, when everything's not perfect, hey, Tua, do it in 2 minutes now. Do it quickly. Everyone knows what you got to do. Do it. Give me all the ones you've got of Tua leading marches down the field. I got the Ravens game where they scored the 6 touchdowns. That's a comeback that I remember, but give me all the ones you got that make you, at the end of that game yesterday, do something different than what I was doing. I'm like, that game's lost. I don't believe Tua will go down the field. I believe this team will do something to short circuit. And then they did all the things to short circuit.
No, they did the drive, and then they didn't do the drive because he was out of bounds. Like, we saw it happen, and then they're like, you know what? Forget what you just saw because he was 6 inches out of bounds.
So, yes, they get the 60-yard play, the fluky play from Achane, which is about the only thing they can do. Dump it off and see if Achane can do something in the open field. And he's been really good as a receiver. And Billy's not wrong. This might be an entirely different conversation if Achane stays in bounds, but he didn't. And when he didn't, you saw a false start, delay of game, 2nd and 20. And you're like, they're going backwards. They're going to try and get 20 yards, now 6 yards at a time. That's how they're going to get the 2nd and 20. They're not going to go down the field. It's going to be 6 and 7 yards. And they're going to put me in a situation where I'm watching 2 on 4th and 7. And I'm like, they're going to do something wrong here. And then they do.
I want to play this sound of McDaniel after the game because he tries to take responsibility while blaming other people. And this is a minute here of him trying to be the head coach and taking responsibility, but not.
Ultimately, I look at absolutely everything falling on me. So I don't see, that's the responsibility of a head coach that you go into knowing that. That being said, I'm very frustrated with, collective, there's some basically coaches and players that did not execute communication in a very dire period of the game with the game on the line. Our communication and our substitution was not up to par, and ultimately that is my, I hold all responsibility for all things.
Specifically, the penultimate 4th down, was there a delay in deciding to go for it, getting the play call, breaking the
That's kind of where the frustration lies for me. It wasn't deciding that cost us or a late play call, which that happens at times, but this was not one of those times.
Not a deciding problem. He's basically just so you know, this wasn't a decision thing. The decision was made and it wasn't executed properly.
Also, so that everyone understands, I'm ultimately responsible for everything, but I'm also going to give you a list of all the things that everyone else did wrong. But you can come back to me because I'm the head coach, okay? So ultimately it falls on me. But everyone else, not a good job.
So you were saying how you would just throw it to Achane and hopefully he makes something happen, right? Which is basically what was going on in the game yesterday. Like every positive play was Achane kind of making things just happen. So I decided to look up Achane. He had 92 receiving yards on 8 receptions. Do you want to guess how many yards after contact he had?
Oh, okay, hold it. So how many yards total?
92 total yards.
I like this game.
After this, we're gonna have a fun little experiment.
Okay, I'm gonna go 84.
84 yards after contact of his 92. Do you want to guess, Craig, how many yards after contact?
I'd say 58.
58 of his 92 were yards after contact. Dan?
I wasn't listening to you because I was asking Chris to cut sound, and you knew I was doing that. You saw me doing that.
Dirty move, Billy.
You saw me.
Okay, Mike McDaniel.
Let's play this.
He had
out.
92 yards receiving. How many yards after contact? I'll just tell you, 102 yards after contact.
Yeah.
What?
He had more yards after contact than he had total yards receiving.
Well, let's give Tua the credit for all those yards.
I was telling Chris Cody to play this sound because as this banner flies over the stadium and you lose that way, this is how Mike McDaniel sleeps at night.
Absolutely everything falling on me.
He's just like looking at the ceiling with one eye open.
Absolutely everything falling on me.
All right, I got to take. Someone needs to pay. I'm not buying this. Look, you probably can't
Absolutely everything falling on me.
You can't fire the head coach. Short week actually helps him here, despite we know that they're all going to lose that game.
No, the move to fire the coach is Friday when they lose 40-0.
Okay. You fire the GM. Here's why. Every time I look up and check out the Pittsburgh Steelers, I see Jalen Ramsey making an impactful decoy-type play, and I hear you guys talking about how bad the Dolphins' defense is. And I look up every time in black and gold, and I see that guy making a play. Also, Miami Dolphins tight end room. 2 catches, 20 yards this season. It kind of seems like Jonnu Smith and Jalen Ramsey would help. And that was a very bad trade very early on. Fire the GM?
You mentioned, Zaslow's in on fire everybody.
Yes.
And Jeremy's whispering to me that this is going to be the second coach that Tua gets fired because, as we mentioned, it's been 6 years.
Yeah, I mean, look, ultimately, like Brian Flores looks right. Like he didn't want to go to Tua. He believed that Ryan Fitzpatrick gave them a better chance to win. Chris Greer basically made him play Tua. And ultimately, given the offense where it was at, they were a worse team when Tua was on the field. Then Mike McDaniel hitches his wagon to, I'm going to make Tua better. Now, ultimately, like, the real elephant in the room is the reason this guy looks worse is because his brain is scrambled. Like, you don't process as quickly after however many concussions. But at the same time,
Dan's about to hit you with stop talking.
No, I'm trying to hit reckless speculation, but it's not working.
No, Dr. Taché made a good point there.
Well, he just said his brain is scrambled, and I guess we can assume that. He doesn't look the same, but also his offensive line stinks, and
look, you're making a bunch of bad decisions, right? Like, isn't that processing?
I
think so.
I've made a lot of bad decisions in terms of how I've done the analysis of his entire career because brain scrambling as an ingredient is not something we've had to do before very much in quarterback measurements. But yes, we're all doctors now, and when he misses Tyreek Hill, and he was Drew Brees percentage-wise last season, he's the most accurate quarterback McDaniel's ever seen, the most accurate quarterback many of us have ever seen. And now there's more inaccuracy. Now we're all doctors, and it's not his arm, it's his brain. And I don't know. Because it could be his offensive line. It could be that he and Tyreek are not the same as they were. If it wasn't but 18 months ago that throw to Tyreek in a training camp was proof that Tua can't throw the deep ball. That was 18 months ago.
Even if ultimately put the brain stuff aside, right? Like, you make the comparison to Drew Brees. You make the comparison to Drew Brees. The reason Drew Brees was this elite all-time quarterback is he was reaching those completion percentages in an era where no one else was. Now you have these dynamic quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson, like Josh Allen, like Jalen Hurts, who ultimately are reaching the same completion percentages, but doing all of these other things that Tua physically cannot do. And that's the disparity. He could statistically continue to be this guy who only throws however many incompletions. But if all he can do is dink and dunk around the field, you're not going to be successful.
It's not the same offense as it was a few years ago. I understand, like, the offensive line is not very good right now, but man, they were picking up 3rd and 10 like it's nothing. And now it's all dinking and dunking. And look, I get it, the offensive line stinks, but if you're a quarterback in your 6th year and you were the number 5 overall pick, the expectation needs to be a little bit higher than things are going to go well only if the surrounding circumstances are perfect.
But, Zaz, it's worse than that because when Chris is saying they can't fix it, they can. They might have the number 1 pick, and they can fix it with the number 1 pick. But they've tied up so much money in this that they no longer have the greatest advantage that they had in the Tua window, which is they had value at quarterback cheap. Now it's not that anymore. Now it's expensive, and you don't trust it, and you don't trust it at the end of games. And I will remind you, that point total is sufficient to win an NFL game. That defense is historically bad. They haven't gotten to the tough offenses yet. Like, the Colts look improved. I'd like to see a pass rush against the Colts. I'd like to see Daniel Jones bothered a bit because I haven't seen a whole lot of that. He looks a lot different than he did with the Giants, obviously. Their skill guys are better, but I haven't seen him bothered a whole bunch. And I haven't seen the Dolphins defense bother anybody. They're not – to have 2 stops, going back to last season – going back to the end of last season, it was like 15 consecutive drives where they were allowing points. It's historically bad, Greg, and not the tough offenses yet.
Right. So I am sort of wondering why we continue to blame Tua for this loss because, as you say, it falls on the defense and special teams. I would have loved it if Mike McDaniel in his post-game talk had said, hey, by the way, I just fired my special teams coach because guess what? We probably win that game if we don't give up a 90-yard kickoff return touchdown.
They also got a punt return touchdown. Like, what?
Yeah, right before that.
Right, but it's...
And then they have the momentum, and the stadium's going crazy for the first time all day, and they give up that kick return touchdown? Inexcusable. I would fire the special teams coach.
I think also a place where someone like me comes after Tua in that spot is we know what they're paying him. He's established in this league for long enough. It is a fair expectation, Greg. Correct me if I'm wrong. It is a fair expectation for that quarterback who this team is invested in, to have two opportunities with just a couple minutes left in the game.
It took 40 minutes and 2 weeks of badgering, but we've gotten Greg Cody to fire someone. He came home after a bad day of work. He kicked the pet dog, but yes, he fired a special teams
Jumpin'
coach.
Charlie?
He fired a special teams coach.
Yeah.
There you go.
If I kick my dog, he'll kick back. Trust me.
That's who everybody's flying banners for right now. You have just appeased the fan base.
I don't know why you guys wrote off this game as though they've already lost the Bills. You know what we saw yesterday for the first time? I don't know if you guys caught this. Josh Allen is human, and he bleeds human blood. He dinged his head. He had to leave for a couple plays.
Did he break his nose? Did he break?
I don't know. He's back like a play later. The guy's not a human.
It looked like he broke his nose.
Yeah, he had gauze in his left nostril.
The thing
Just said he was human.
The thing that I am concerned about, I don't know what the point spread is going to be in that Bills
million.
Dolphins
12.5.
It's going to keep
A halftime line?
going up.
I like Miami with the points.
Of course, you're Homer Cody. The thing that's
Mark my
troublesome about the first two games and what I keep saying is a historically bad defense, they haven't played the stars of the league yet. Jonathan Taylor, like they haven't had to stop somebody who's actually impossible to stop. That's a defense that's a sieve, even though the great players on offense, the best that they've played so far it's Jonathan Taylor. That's the best that they've played against so far.
Well, he's pretty good, but
pretty good.
Your
I'm
point
not.
is well
No,
taken.
I'm saying that when those corners have to start covering receivers,
Gotcha.
that are impossible to cover,
Right.
And tight ends that are impossible to cover. You guys just said the Dolphins miss Jonnu Smith. Yes, they do. And I also saw a different Miami team, the college one, doesn't seem to need a tight end at all. They're not doing anything with a tight end, but they've improved all those receivers. It's not just Restrepo running around out there anymore.
I think Carson Beck targeted 15 different receivers, and the message boards are like, "What? We forgot about the tight ends." I mean,
That's a
Royal
UM
looked pretty
fan.
good last year.
And then you see what Cam Ward does. It's not about the numbers. I don't care how many points
What
they
a
put up.
throw from Cam
it's
Ward.
seeing guys around the league doing things.
They tell you don't throw across your body, Cam Ward.
It's
You know,
like
this
I
guy.
want one of those. I want a Cam Ward.
Sure, you want everybody except Tua.
Tua is out of the pocket a couple times today, and it's like, I'm doing the opposite. I'm like, oh no! Like I hate this.
Greg, he's awful with the game on the line, Tua. He's awful. And like if we were to go back and look at the stats, what he is late in these close games, I'm sure they're going to tell us he's awful.
That part is empirical. That's not.
Right.
It's not. You go ahead, even as Homer Cody, name all the game-winning drives of Tua you remember.
I don't catalog those kind of minutiae.
You got to take a quiz.
No, but I will say this. We're picking a weird time to get on Tua after he had an appreciably better game than he did in the opener. If that's the Tua with a couple of touchdowns and one interception and that
Greg,
accuracy
you
and
need your
300 yards,
Greg, you need your $250 million quarterback to win you some
It's
games.
literally
at the
his
end.
job. Even in games that the defense is terrible,
Right.
it's literally Tua's job.
Tone.
When you're paid like that, I'm sorry.
Back off.
I've told you, I'm mad.
He
You saw me on
fired-
Twitter yesterday.
he
I'm mad.
fired the
I'm not
special
mad at
teams
Greg.
coordinator.
I'm not mad at Greg.
He
I'm not
gave
mad
you
at Greg.
something.
There's
I'm
gonna
not
be
mad at
there's
Greg.
going to be
Lay
a
off.
scapegoat. Before they fire Greer and McDaniel in season, there will be a scapegoat.
Slowick's out of here.
Of the order of the special teams coach.
You broke him down. You've been attacking the man for
I'm not mad at
25
him.
minutes.
I'm not mad at him.
Years, 25 years.
You made him the projection of the establishment Miami Dolphins. Relax. You fired somebody.
Okay, the only reason that I'm doing this, so that you know, I've always tried. You guys know this about me. I'm not the person who hyperventilates 2 weeks into a season.
Yeah, you are.
But what? Not usually.
But now you are.
But because Greg, it's not that
Watching the games.
It's not that they lost. It's not. It's the most catastrophic ways to lose. We haven't even gotten to the part where Tua misses 4 games because something is like we haven't even gotten to the part where the skill guys get hurt. Like that, the season is over after 2 games, and I don't think I've ever said that in my in covering the Dolphins.
In years that you thought they were going to be like
Not even the one in 15 season. I don't think I've ever said at 0-2. Oh, no, this is so calamitous. They've got so many problems of the kind that you can't get over, including If you don't trust your quarterback and don't trust him late, I'd put it low on the list. They can't stop anybody.
I think the most inexcusable part about all of this, though, is everyone saw this coming headed into the offseason, and that's why everyone was like, you need to replace Greer. And then as soon as the season ended, like the next day, Stephen Ross came out and said, you know what? Everyone's safe. Everyone's coming back next year. And then the entire offseason went by with no adjustments, seemingly, except downgrading by trading away players. So this shouldn't be a surprise to anyone that this is how this is going.
I mean, Greer, look, we know it's no playoff wins his entire actually existence with the organization, not just as general manager. It's going to be another head coach that he hired, another one that he hired, fired, and he gave the quarterback $200 million, and it is proved to be dead wrong. How do you... And the rebuild is in year 7 now. How do you survive all of this?
Greg, this
you don't. Both of them are going to be fired if this continues. I'm just not ready to fire everybody after 2 games. I think that's the fundamental difference here. I don't disagree that it's a dumpster fire right now and that they look really, really bad in 2 key areas, cornerback and offensive line. The only difference is I don't want to fire people right now. And I was half kidding about the special teams coach. That would have been
This is the new and unimproved Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz. Gamble on by DraftKings.
What the interaction was like.
Greg Cody's back in my day. Seeds.
Seeds. Seeds. Had a slice of watermelon lately? Popped a few grapes in your maw? Then you probably notice seeds are disappearing from fruit. And you probably see this as a good thing just because it makes life a little easier. We love us some convenience. In fact, it's a terrible thing, the de-seeding of us. Symbolically alone, the seed is the king of life. Adam gave his to Eve, and here we are, if you believe the story. If they take the seed out of humans the way we have watermelons, we're all dead ducks. Beans, peas, rice, coffee, corn, all seeds. Flour and oil started as seeds. All hail seeds. So what the hell is happening? In exchange for convenience, we are not valuing the seed's impact on health, biodiversity, and our food system. The genetic variability of most plants require seeds as essential to their evolution. De-seeded, artificially homogenized fruits rely on human intervention in the reproductive process, exposing the fruits to many pathogens. Plainly put, seedless fruits are not as good for you. They contain less fiber and have fewer minerals and vitamins than their seeded natural brethren. Seedless fruits also have fewer antioxidants, plant-based nutrients, and anti-inflammatory properties. But enough about this science. Bring back seeds because seeds are fun. Not to mention aesthetically and visually pleasing. Kids growing up today have sliced open a watermelon, have never sliced open a watermelon, and experienced the joy of seeing that juicy red flesh dotted with embedded black seeds. Nellie Doogie used to tell us if we swallowed a watermelon seed, a big melon would grow in our belly. It wasn't true. But as kids would make a competition out of seed spitting. You extracted the big seeds from the melon flesh. Tongue only, never fingers or a utensil, and you'd see who could project a seed the farthest. Every summer we did that. This was before video games, kids. Made our own games and toys. Flew a kite, kicked a can, spit a seed. Grapes were the real challenge because the seeds were so much smaller. We'd both pop a grape in our mouth, tongue moving, jaws in action, and whoever could spit out 3 seeds onto the table the fastest won. To this day, I carve real pumpkins in a shoe of prefab foam and plastic fakes, mainly for the treasure trove of seeds inside. Hundreds and hundreds of them waiting to be scraped out, cleaned, and roasted in the oven to become delicious natural snacks. Respect, worship, and bring back the seeds. I need a t-shirt that says convenience is overrated. Insist to your local grocer that you'll take your watermelon seeded, please, and the grapes too. I'm Greg Cody, and that's how it was back in my day.
Yep. Journalism is dead.
But journalism, as we know it, as you know it, what you wanted to do when you were a little kid, okay? It has changed. It has. It's changed, okay? You're not wrong. Stephen A. Smith is not wrong. You have to adapt sometimes, okay? Because the game has changed. Your priorities have shifted. No one cares how someone goes and gets the news that they get, as long as the news is accurate, as long as it's coming from a credible place. If it's Woj, if it's Adam Schefter, if it's you, if it's Diana Rossini, if it's Shams, nobody cares. You might care. Greg Cody might care. Stephen A. Smith might care. But you know what? You all sold out. Every single one of you, okay? Stephen A. Smith jumped inside the circus tent. I don't blame him. Why'd he do it? Because he had to do it. Because the game has changed. You jumped inside the circus tent. You did. You did so with me. Think about that. With me and with Greg Cody.
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Zaslow, as we've established, is a judge. He is a journalist. He is, what else? You're a lawyer.
I'm a race war expert.
You're a race war expert. There's a fifth thing in there that you
Time
are.
zone?
I don't remember.
Yeah, czar of time zones.
But during the break, he was doing some reporting, and
Yep.
I'm sorry to do this to you, Greg. It may feel like a betrayal, but Zaslow has some breaking news for the audience and for us, because I don't think we knew this until Zaslow reported it.
Dan, good journalism is never a betrayal. It's always in search of the truth. Okay, so no reason to apologize, and that includes to Greg. Greg fired the special teams coach a few minutes ago. Now, I did a little bit of digging here, and I would like you to confirm, Greg Cody, is it possible that there is a bias in your mind, in your heart, that the reason that you fired the special teams coach, we all thought it was because, you were showing some gumption, all right? Somebody's got to pay. Is it possible that this was in response? Well, with about 7 minutes left in the game yesterday, the Dolphins took the lead, 27-23, on a punt return. 7 minutes, not a lot of time. Dolphins just took the lead. Is it possible that you had just about shaped your column for the game, and then the kick was returned for a touchdown by the Patriots, and you had to scrap with less than half the fourth quarter remaining?
After 50 years of writing for an afternoon game with bad deadlines,
you had to then scrap your current column because of a special teams gaffe. True or false?
Closer to true than false. When you're right, I admit it. It was a massive inconvenience to me in the press box when all of a sudden a lead becomes a deficit because of a special teams boner.
It was a 1 o'clock game, boner.
Yeah, I know.
That's a 1 o'clock game. What kind of deadline is that?
I got a 4:30 deadline to make the print edition.
I've got additional reporting to be done here. Greg Cody, tired of getting texts when down 12-0 about, Homer, had written the column that was going to be joyously, I'm right, everyone overreacted. That's the column that had to be scrapped.
Okay, I always root for my pick. I picked the Dolphins to win that game, and they should have. They were favored. They should have won.
But you picked the column. That was the better column. The other column, the column you scrapped was the column you wanted to write.
I don't think there was a better column. I think if they had won that game dramatically in their home opener, it would have been fun to write. But if they lose and all of a sudden there's calamity and there's planes flying overhead, that's pretty tasty as well.
But you are willing to confirm that you fired the special teams coach because he inconvenienced you.
Yeah, I thought we already agreed on that.
Yeah. It's just confirmed. That's good. It's good to have that. A lot of things to talk about from yesterday. What are the games we've eliminated that we're not talking about? We're not talking about the Browns and Ravens game. Nothing to see here.
Cardinals-Panthers
You
is
guys
gone.
said nothing on Cardinals-Panthers, but that would have been a pretty stunning comeback.
It would have been.
If Carolina pulled it off.
But it wasn't, so we're not talking about it.
Okay, correct.
Are we talking Rams-Titans?
Well, Cam Ward's throw.
That one play I can talk about.
Cam Ward's throw, they're built Ram tough. I told you that.
Puka's good.
And that's going to be – well, I wanted to get into something with Puka, and then we'll put this game aside. Just real quick. because I saw yesterday in the Jacksonville game, and I cannot believe that I saw it. That Jacksonville game is as inexplicable a loss as I've seen since the one that had the Chargers and Jacksonville in the playoffs. Jacksonville had no business losing that football game. If I'm a Jacksonville fan today, I am furious that my team made the number of mistakes in that game to lose to a backup quarterback who threw 3 interceptions, because they had a ton of them. Well, I heard the announcer at one point, I'm tuning in on the game, and I hear the announcer in the end zone, Brown has dropped the ball. Brown has dropped the ball, and the announcer says, that is a catch that you have to make 100 out of 100 times. Every receiver in the league makes that catch 100 out of 100 times. Dropped in the end zone. Trevor Lawrence throws an interception in the end zone. But what I watched in that game is, I'm like, oh, that happened fast. Tootin is better than Etienne and looks more athletic. And the game has like chewed up Etienne. And I'm like, woo, that happened very quickly to the running back, a disposable position. I'm watching Puka run down the field, and I'm like, 45-yard runs by receivers usually look fast, but that guy needs WD-40 because what a big
lumbering.
Oh my God! Look, whatever's happened to his body playing as physical as the Rams make their receivers play.
He hasn't been in the league that long.
He hasn't. He has not been in the league.
Speed
that
was
long.
never really his
Not
thing.
his game.
No, but I'm talking about the lumbering. I'm not even talking about the speed.
A weird thing to say on a 45-yard run for a
Correct.
touchdown.
Understood.
Where he catches the corner.
Understood.
Like he went off tackle on this one, pal.
Yep. I'm well aware of the observation I'm making and how ridiculous it sounds. And also that sport makes it so that those guys have about 5 years of that kind of life in their body. You're already seeing it with Mahomes. How silly do those throws look now when he's rolling to his right and trying to flip it and they don't have the timing right and he throws
Not
it
so cute
at
anymore.
somebody's feet?
Don't do this. Don't do this with Patrick Mahomes. I'm just warning you right now. That game's on Travis Kelce. They have injuries. They've had tough opponents so far. I'm not doing this. Learn from last year.
Well, let's do this part. The news from yesterday is Burrow's injury, okay? And very high up on the list. I don't know what else it is that you guys would put on this list. It's not just the Chiefs falling to 0-2. It's not just the season they had last year where they won all the one-score games and now they've lost the one-score games. It's that also when they're hurt and Patrick Mahomes needs help, Taylor Swift's fiance last week injured one of their deep threats running a route. And this week at the goal line where they got the defending champs where they want them at the goal line, the Mahomes-Kelce timing, which is like, it's the sweetest thing except maybe St. Brown and Goff. Like it's the sweetest thing in the sport in terms of two players who have a timing that has been for 5 years, made him the greatest statistical tight end we've ever seen. At the goal line, their timing is off. He throws it too early or the route's not right. It hits Kelce in the arm late, and then the Eagles pick it off, run the other way, and take the whole game.
If it hits your hands, you catch the ball.
put it on
Like,
the
timing's not off.
If
Like,
it hits you in the arm,
Travis
it's late.
Kelce's messing up there. It's not Patrick Mahomes' timing.
That play by the Chiefs tackle to chase that guy down might have been the most impressive thing I saw yesterday.
You know what's funny about you saying that? I'm going to go ahead and say Neighbors was that for me. Like, in terms of the two catches when he's double-teamed and you got Diggs punching, like he's cleanly punching at the ball. The strength of these human beings in their hands. I want something to be noticed here from yesterday that I find legitimately breathtaking every time I see it because of how fast everyone is and the field isn't big enough for all those human beings, which is why so many things have to be done by inches. The number of receivers who are 40 yards down the field, catching a ball with one arm against their helmet or shoulder pad. They hit the ground and the ball doesn't move. When I'm sitting there looking at it, I'm like, that's 40 yards from the quarterback. How does that ball in that space not move when it's in the crook of your elbow or they've got just one hand on it? It must have happened like 6 times yesterday. And also what happened? These guys are getting a lot better at punching the football. The immortal Mark Andrews yesterday had one punched out of his hands because of how good these guys. Diggs had Neighbors. He had him. Diggs is punching at the football in Neighbors' hands, but his hands are too strong. The ball doesn't move in his hand.
I could see them changing that rule at some point because, I mean, like, you're literally just allowed to punch a player.
Yeah, they should change that.
Hopefully you hit the ball, but if you miss the ball, it's still okay then to punch a player during the game.
Isn't that how Josh Allen got his nose broken? Like, isn't that how it happened?
They're going to change that rule.
They should.
They've gotten really good at that Peanut Tillman thing where they just punch the football. So, Chris, you're not wrong when you say an offensive lineman chasing down a DB when he doesn't have the angle was super impressive. But, I mean, this Tesla guy in Detroit has made 2 of the greatest catches I've seen in the first 2 weeks of the season, and he's not one of the best receivers in the league yet. But he's made 2 catches, and I'm like, oh, my God. That there was no space for him to make either of those catches. The news from yesterday, though, Burrow, Chiefs 0-2, and Kelsey being at the center of the loss. Taylor Swift was never shown on the television, right? This team, Mahomes has never lost 3 straight. That's where we are right now. And on offense, they're constipated. He made 1 deep throw. He missed another deep throw. And they needed a bailout yesterday against the champions. The Eagles, how about this stat? The Eagles 4 times have passed for under 100 yards. They're 4-0. Under 100 yards passing. The Eagles have taken the entire offensive league, and they're like, nope, we're just going to do this 1.5 yards at a time with Saquon Barkley, and we're just going to ground you to dust, punching you in the face. And they've eliminated the gulf that the Chiefs had between the rest of the league and them with a kind of football that's barbaric. It's primitive. Jalen Hurts does not care whether or not he gets any stats or not. How do you go on the road and beat the Chiefs and become 4-0 in games where you have fewer than 100 passing yards in the modern age?
Yeah, I have Jalen Hurts on my fantasy team, so believe me, I know when you say he doesn't care about his stats. He's not a great fantasy quarterback, but all he does is win because all he has to do is hand the ball off to Saquon Barkley. What a great – and that offensive line is everything that the bad offensive lines like Miami's is not.
They cheat on the tush push though. Like we've seen. You see Chase Daniel put it out there. Like they're leaving early. They're just going in early. They're hitting defensive line, and then
I think sometimes they're also starting over the football before the snap.
There's just no integrity in this game anymore.
Isn't it funny to you guys, though, to see the Eagles winning that way while Tinsley is sitting there making us ask again, hey, is one shin worth 2 feet? One shin? There was like 4 of those yesterday where it's one shin is worth 2 feet because all they're doing is getting a shin in.
Did you see the video of when Jalen Hurts was kneeling down at the end of the game? And, under 100 yards, they keep winning games. And Chris Jones, on the other side of the ball, was trash-talking Jalen Hurts. That like, oh, you didn't do shit. You had under 100 yards.
Hurts is like, we won the bleeping game. All right, relax about 100
You
yards.
didn't even have 100 yards.
Oh, but it is so frustrating if you're the Chiefs. I mean, it was Chris Jones and Tyreek Hill saying, we're going to win 7 or 8 of these. And now it's just these giant guys saying, we're going to push you back at the end of the game, just 2 yards at a time. What are you going to do? Chris Jones is going to be jumping over the top, trying to paw at this dumb play, this incredibly dumb play that has short-circuited all of the offense in the league.
I do think people should look at it, though. It's one thing that it's unstoppable. It's another thing that it's unstoppable and they're getting unfair advantages. If they're lining up over the football, if they're starting early, those go against the rules of the game. Right. So they got to call that.
Let's just be clear on one thing here, though. Going against the rules of the game for just a second, okay? Because this play is stupid. Because whenever the rules of the game are Brock Osweiler is the offensive guy throwing 4 yards at a time, you know what happens? They change the rules of the game when it's not entertaining. This is shitty to watch these guys eat up clock when you've got 10 minutes of action in a game, running a yard at a time. It's not for the customer.
It's already an iconic play, and I'd like to see someone stop it before we put it to bed. But if they're not stopping it because they're cheating on it and starting early,
not entertaining on top of that.
You can't be unstoppable and cheat at the unstoppable play. So do something about the play.
And how do they actually know where the ball is? There's 10 guys on top of Hurts there. How do they actually know where to spot the ball? Because one of those tush pushes yesterday was really close. It's like, first down.
By the way, if the Dolphins were tanking right now, and if Kansas City was serious about maybe wanting Tyreek Hill back because they desperately need him, now would be the time to make that deal.
Before.
Optimum value right now.
Who would want to bring that guy into your locker room?
Well, we already discussed this last week. Let's leave that alone because we left the Dolphins alone last
Well, the
segment.
Chiefs lost Worthy, though. I mean, there's not crazy.
They're desperate.
This is a good idea by you, Greg.
The Eagles are 18-1 in their last 19 games. And when I say that play doesn't care about the customers, neither does this, okay? Here is what I'm going to read here from Dennis Dodd just from this weekend. The FBS games, if you wanted to watch them Saturday, you needed ABC, Fox, CBS, CBS-SN, ESPN, ESPN2, ESPN Plus, SEC North Plus, ESPNU, FS1, Paramount Plus, Peacock, HBO Max, YouTube, True TV, TNT, Spectrum Sports, Big Ten Network, SEC Network, SEC North Plus, ACC Network, Mountain West Network, the CW Network, NEC Front Row.
Who's this Dodd guy? Does he have 37 TVs in his house? Like, what is this article even?
He
can't possibly watch all those games at one time.
If you wanted to watch them all, that's what you needed to have.
You can't watch them all.
Well, can I ask something here real quick? When did it become our right to be able to watch every game that's happening?
Half of the games that are on now didn't even used to be televised.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, FIU games were not on every single week.
That's what I'm saying.
10 years ago.
It's when you make it free and then charge people. That's when.
But it's never been free.
It has been free.
It has never been free. Every game has never been free.
No, not every game. Football has been free before. You're used to getting the games that you want on
free.
network television.
Well, network's not free.
I mean, it's still free. You want to watch Fox? You want to watch
Network is
ABC?
free.
Well, that's
you want
broadcast.
to watch CBS? Yeah,
Fox,
those are still free.
That's broadcast. Like, network is free. CBS, the FS1, TNT.
Well, no,
that's network.
No, that's cable. That's cable.
That's
network
cable.
television.
Network is ABC, NBC, and CBS, and Fox, I guess.
Yeah, it's stuff that you can get with an antenna.
Okay, it's 4 now, I guess, right? It's not big 3 anymore, Greg. I think it's 4.
Is someone peeing? What is that?
That's streaming. Whenever we're talking about streaming, they play.
Okay.
They play the streaming sound.
Gotcha.
Did you guys enjoy the CW's biggest game ever? Because I really enjoyed. Because these things are hard to do, and we've gotten spoiled at how professional they look everywhere. And so the CW getting in the game, it does look a little cheaper. They're trying their best, but you can see that the broadcast quality does not have.
When did you notice it?
I noticed it during the pregame show.
That's when I noticed
Ridiculous.
it.
Yeah,
That's when I noticed
during the pregame show. I'm looking I'm like, that studio's not it's not lit well enough.
That's when I noticed it.
And I'm like, it's funny. They're giving the games now to some networks that aren't quite ready yet to do the games.
The Canes deserve better than CW. Come on. How the hell did that happen? Why was that Canes game a game between ranked teams, not on a bigger network?
Fault. That's my fault.
Why did you point
That is my fault.
Well,
I dropped the ball there.
He's dressed like an executive with the program.
No, the ACC and CW have an agreement for some games.
Sad.
Did any of you watch the Jacksonville game? I'm telling you that the way they lost that game, the people who are listening to this in Jacksonville are saying to themselves that they've never lost a game quite like that because of the number of things they did wrong. First of all, Trevor Lawrence is good. I told you, 10 minutes of live action per game. It's not a lot of live action. He is good for one dropped snap a game. Like just throw a play away. He's also good for why did he throw that over someone's head by 10 feet as a rocket shot when like every other quarterback in the league makes that throw accurately?
He did mix in a throw the ball while you're 3 yards beyond the line of scrimmage.
Yes, he's the most likely to do that too. Yes, put that on the poll at Le Batard Show. Is Trevor Lawrence, the quarterback in the league, most likely to throw the ball three yards past the line of scrimmage because he's a galloping horse paying no attention to what's happening at the yard marker?
Mahomes always deeks. Mahomes will fake a throw like 9 yards down.
Yeah,
and
that's
people
a good
fall
move.
for it.
That's a good move.
I can't even blame Trevor Lawrence because he did make the 2 throws in that game that you have to make, but Brian Thomas dropped one of them. They had it. They're up 27-24. It's 4th and 2. They're not kicking the field goal. They're saying, no, we're going to end the Bengals here by making it a 2-score game. We trust our offense that much. And then your best wide receiver drops the easiest of balls, and then you allow the backup quarterback who has thrown 3 interceptions to convert a 4th down and drive all the way down the field. It's as bad a loss as the team had yesterday, and I watched that Arizona-Carolina game, and I'd still be saying that even if Carolina won.
The almost loss is as bad a loss as you can have in that sport. They were going to do that, too. That game was just a little bit longer.
Can't talk about that one. It's been taken off the board.
My bad.
Steelers, Seahawks. Aaron Rodgers threw the interceptions and had another one that should have been an interception. That DB is going to be haunted by his inability to catch a ball that was thrown right at his face mask. But the Seahawks go on the road, and all of a sudden the Steelers don't look like they looked in week 1. And I when I'm watching this game, this is what I did. I'm like, yeah, one of the analysis I haven't done before. If you're in your 40s and you have 8 months to prepare for a game, your body probably feels a little bit different than if you've had 5 days. And it probably, after 40, that would be a decent place for a quarterback to age when the defensive linemen are 25 years old and 100 pounds heavier than you and faster.
And where's their defense? The Steelers are giving up over 30 points both games this year.
The week 1 was very scary because while we were saying we haven't seen their offense do that, we haven't seen their defense do that. And 2 weeks worth of sample here, doesn't look like that Jets defense is nearly anywhere near as good as people expected. So maybe some fool's gold in that week 1 performance from Aaron.
Well, the first 2 games out of Aaron Rodgers, the Jets fans are nodding their heads because they've seen it. What you're going to get from him at his age is 3 mediocre games in a row and then a brilliant game and then another bad game and then a brilliant. He's just so inconsistent right now. He still has it in him, but he can't bring it up all the time because he's old.
That's part of it, but I would say also he was 3 for 11 for 36 yards and an interception whenever the Seahawks sent pressure. So his decision-making's not old. We're in agreement on that, right? It's his body that's old.
It's the sacks, too. The point was made last week. Physically, very different quarterback. It's going to have to do it a different way. The evading pressure, not happening. I think he was sacked 3 times.
I thought the thing that stunned me the most about week 1 was the Steelers' offense. And the reason that it stunned me, because they got lucky that the Jets fumbled a kickoff to get them back in the game. We wouldn't have been talking about MVP Aaron Rodgers and his 4 touchdowns if they had not. But the thing that was stunning to me about week 1 is I was expecting them to do 4-yard slants like they did with Roethlisberger at the end and control the ball and play defense. I didn't expect sling it all over the field and throw it to DK Metcalf, who can't be guarded by a cornerback or anybody a cornerback size if he just puts his body on you. I thought that's what they were going to do all season. Watching them lose at home against Seattle, nobody's expecting anything from Seattle, correct?
No. Yeah, mediocre. Not bad.
Mediocre, but bottom half of the league playoff team, maybe like last year. I'm not expecting Geno Smith to be I'm not expecting Sam Darnold to be better than Geno Smith was, just like I'm not expecting J.J. McCarthy to be better than what Sam Darnold was in Minnesota. We're not talking about Minnesota-Atlanta either, though.
They have the Saints this weekend, which is an easy one. Cardinals will be a little tougher the following
No
week.
Saints 49ers then. We're not going to talk about that game.
Well, he's on the
we're talking Seahawks right now.
I think that's a game we shouldn't be watching.
Which one? Saints?
Saints 49ers.
Yeah, it'll be 2-1.
Oh, no, there's stuff to talk about, like Christian McCaffrey's so good. But right now we're on week 3.
Yeah, week 3. Saints Seahawks right now. Then at Cardinals.
Ooh, anybody's game. That's a
Thursday night or two. Toss out the records when Thursday night. Then versus the Bucks.
Wow, put the kids to bed potentially.
4:00 early bedtime, but I know what you mean.
Coach, he's smart. He can game plan.
Yeah. Jags 1 p.m. following week.
Well, Dan's gonna be locked in. We know that.
Yeah. Texans.
That was a good Jags game. You guys are sleeping.
That's a late one, huh?
Anybody who was watching that Jags game, call Tony.
10 p.m.
Can you guys call Tony?
No thanks.
I'd like to call Tony and find out how Tony is feeling about how the Jags lost that football game. And when I mentioned, Greg, to you that the Miami Dolphins haven't faced stars yet. James Cook is a star. I know a lot of you love him in fantasy, and I know that we're not doing that really with running backs unless it's Saquon Barkley. But that dude's balance, what cometh this way for the Dolphins with that offense, where James Cook is their what? 3rd, 4th best skill guy? Like maybe you put him.
No,
maybe
it might be their
second.
Yeah, with a large gulf.
Oh, well,
you got till the end of the segment to take.
Well,
back
I just think
who you got.
Okay.
Keon Coleman in there.
No, I got Coleman.
We're going to attack you. We're not going to stop until you apologize.
I think that Shakir and Coleman over the next 4 years will grow more than James Cook.
Whoa! What?
James Cook may be retired in 4
years. He's a running back. You said right now he's their 3rd or 4th best skill guy.
I'll take that back.
Apologize.
I will take that back.
Second best.
I will take that back, and I will put him second. I will just also add that those wide receivers, I believe, are also going to be stars playing with the MVP. And so now I think you've got basically 4 of the 5 best offensive players that the Dolphins have seen through 3 weeks,
right,
and a defense who can't do anything about it.
Yeah, Jonathan Taylor certainly ranks.
I said 4 or 5.
Okay. All right. But
I mean, Daniel Jones, the MVP candidacy is actually a thing for Tony. Like, they haven't punted.
Okay, but okay.
They haven't punted.
Does Brian Daboll get more heat for his current quarterback situation or the Colts quarterback situation?
His current quarterback situation got a career high from Russell Wilson while he was playing Jackson Dart, and it would have been even more of a career high if he hadn't been platooning quarterbacks in the game and giving Jackson Dart plays.
But Daniel Jones completed 16 of 25 passes for 265 yards and a touchdown against the blitz. That's the fourth most passing yards against 5 or more pass rushers in a game in the next-gen stats era. That's since 2016. That's how good Daniel Jones was in his decision-making against the blitz. He's been spectacular the first 2 weeks.
I think the thing you guys are forgetting, though, is he's Daniel Jones. Yeah. And this is going to go the way Daniel Jones has. The ebbs and flows with Daniel Jones, you know?
It's also the Colts, too, because they can do this occasionally.
What is it? What do they have? They inject their quarterbacks with something when they get there, right? Like the first time, like, oh, this quarterback has been a long time. This is like, a veteran quarterback. And then they give them something at the start. You're like, oh, wow. Like, this person might be the MVP, and then by the end of the season, whatever it is wears off.
They're the first team in NFL history to not punt in their first 2 games. Yeah.
Oh. They scored their first 10 drives.
First game.
Steve Martin also did that one time.
You guys say that the blitz, he's been good against the blitz. The Dolphins have a problem in that when they blitz, their corners have to cover.
Yes, that's why they should never blitz.
And so that's part of why Daniel Jones looked like that week 1. I don't believe he will be that against the blitz all season. I believe he's been that against the blitz over 2 games, and none of you remember what happened the first 2 games of last year because the Eagles started slow, and they've won 18 of 19.
Well, I mean, the Colts do have the Titans next.
At Tennessee.
But what do they have after that?
I'm glad you asked that. I printed out the entire schedule for every team. Then they are they're at the Rams.
Okay.
Then they host Vegas.
What time is that? Because I may put the daughter to bed.
That one? I got to look that one up. Yeah. Las to get it all on one page, we're losing the times here.
Do you guys think that the Lions fans found it funny that St. Brown fakes a hammy injury as part of his touchdown celebration?
That was not a cool celebration.
Not funny.
Not cool.
Funny.
Especially not with Baltimore coming up.
What are you doing there? What kind of celebration is that? Falling to the ground.
There's karma around the corner there somewhere.
Faking a hamstring injury seems not a great idea.
Did he start twerking after? That was a thing,
that was
right?
a
Where you used
Colts
to fake
guy.
your ham and then you twerk.
That same dude from the Colts that did that last week had a great celebration, an all-timer with the Colts mascot.
I thought I saw that going around. I didn't think that was funny.
He put the football.
Yeah,
he put the football on his belly to make his belly the same size as the mascot, and then they both. It was funny.
That's at best a fine set. Like you just called it an all-time celebration.
Mascots are funny.
It's not Joe Horn taking a pen out of the thing. Like
Chris, it's a grown man.
That's an all-time
Thank you. Like, what are you talking about?
It's a grown man.
Yeah, it was great.
It's a grown man dressed
Joe
as a
Horn
horse.
was a phone.
He's dressed as a horse, and he does always funny.
That's right.
When
Joe
the
Horn was
mascot,
the phone.
When the mascot puts his hand behind the belly and does the hip thrust.
When the
always
mascots
funny.
get involved, everything goes crazy. And so he had Joe Horn pulling a phone, not a phone, but a pen out of the goalpost. But it was T.O. who pulled the pen out of his sock. Again, watch how guys are finding this much space to get their shin inbounds because everything's moving so fast. And somebody on the field had a pen in their sock.
A butt is 2 feet, right?
Yeah. Well,
so is a knee?
Mm-hmm.
We already did this.
Yeah, we did. But the mascot.
But we left it open. There was some confusion.
The mascot was in the end zone, though.
Yeah.
Well, the thing that I wanted to say about that is I stop the television only once every month or so for my wife because the only part of football that she likes is when the mascots are involved in the celebrations. And taking the football, putting it under your stomach, and then doing a sexual thrusting with the mascot. I don't think it's an all-time celebration.
Thank you.
But
it's just a fine celebration.
I will remember it forever.
But when you involve the mascots, you've made any celebration a great deal more memorable. But since we're here now, let's do it. What are the greatest celebrations you've seen in sports? What ranks as number one if you can only pick one? Brandi Chastain has her moment. I'm going to go. My favorite of all time is Prince Fielder after a home run, jumping on home plate and all of his teammates falling down like bowling pins because I've got a bias toward the fat guys. So when a fat guy can do a celebration, that is my favorite. But you have plenty to choose from here.
And Randy Moss pulling his pants down.
Joe Buck getting furious about his moon, pantomiming a moon. It is.
Oh, yeah, boys. This is the good shit. What is it, July? I had to check the calendar. Best celebrations in sports? What?
You said it was an all-timer. It's your fault.
Yeah. I'd posit that. Greg, did you go? What's your favorite celebration ever? And then what's your least favorite? Spikes overrated.
Nobody spikes the ball anymore.
What?
How about you just spike the ball and that be a celebration?
Nominate
Like in the
somebody.
good old days.
Argue with the demon of debate. Nominate a best celebration of all time.
I prefer the individual celebration, so I want Jalen Waddle to bring back the Waddle.
That's a good one. What about the Icky Shuffle?
Oh, I love that.
Icky out the dirty bird.
Yeah, I love that
How
one.
about Jalen Waddle stay on the field, man? Jeez Louise. Guy gets blown by air and he's on the ground.
The July-ass topic.
You brought it up. You had.
I didn't bring anything up.
No,
You brought up best celebrations of all time.
You made it. No, you made it.
You want to give time and temp, huh?
You made it.
You're that basic?
You made it an all.
Where's the other guy?
I don't know why the Angel Nuance hasn't been around in a while. I thought you guys worked this stuff out before it started. The Angel Nuance.
I don't think Chris is going to find the sound in time, so I don't want to put him in a bad spot.
It's always a bad sign when he just off mic goes, fuck.
He's been doing it a lot lately. Can you not find the Angel of Nuance sound? Is that the problem, Chris? We've been.
You have a media touch there. It's one of the
There's
hot
a lot
buttons.
going on. It's
I would
worked out
reach it
here.
with one of my hooves.
It's good, though, that when you're producing the show, you have time to yell about the topic I've chosen as a July topic when your character brought it up as one of the all-time celebrations.
Well, trying to mix it in. We've got a couple sales proposals that are like, can we get the demon? I'm like, what? Well, how much do I get paid?
Good accountability today. What the hell is that?
Said angelic music. I took a
That's
shot.
not it.
That's not what?
Good try, though. You're doing a really great job. You're trying your hardest.
It's pretty good. It's
no,
not.
it's a good line, Dan, but no, it's
I
not the
mean,
right.
Billy, kudos to you. You ran with it.
Chris,
sloppy shop.
Look, Chris Cody sometimes stumbles around.
I went away, pal. Just you know what? Forget it. We can't even sell this.
It's over, Chris. It's been sabotaged. But I will point out to the audience, please get me the Ken Rosenthal video, because before the show, Chris Cody is very good at telling others how it is they should be doing their job, except sometimes his job comes up for display, and you see what just happened there. What happened here with Ken Rosenthal that had you, Chris, ripping him the way that you were ripping him for being maximum Ken Rosenthal with the bow tie? He's a sideline reporter for baseball, has been for many years, probably the most famous that there is in all of baseball.
I've always thought Ken Rosenthal, nice guy. And in this video, he is doing a sideline interview with a Brewers player, and it's after a game. They just won. So then the water, they do this thing where it lets me spill water or Gatorade on him, and Ken Rosenthal backs up to get out of the way. And he just runs over. I don't know if it's a social media person, somebody holding a phone, crouched over.
Someone doing their job.
Yeah, someone doing their job, and he backs into them. And Ken Rosenthal,
look at that look.
gives this guy a look. Let's run the whole thing back, guys, because you kind of just see him give this dismissive look of, what are you doing messing up Ken Rosenthal's shot? Look at him. He's like, what are you doing there?
Ooh,
and then he gives and then he kind of gives a smirk,
shakes his head.
shakes his head. But the
How
guy,
do you not reach out a hand on? Hey, can I help you?
zero effort to help him up.
On double backed and stared him down again. Then nods his head in disgust. Oh, I can't believe this.
And gets back in front of the camera and puts his smile back on. Like, this was fun.
What kind of behavior is that?
Everyone is enjoying themselves, smiling, but Ken Rosenthal was afraid that he was going to get fall down backwards into the dugout.
Ruins it for me.
His eyes are saying right there, you don't do that to Ken Rosenthal.
That's like Sarkeesian behavior.
Wait, you're blaming the photographer for this, Dan?
No.
I'm not blaming anyone. I'm looking at what's happening here, and I'm seeing
at that
everyone is happy, and I think Ken Rosenthal was probably afraid. Look, I've almost
Afraid?
Oh, boy.
Okay,
He was afraid?
That's an angry man right
He
there.
assaulted a man and then blamed the victim.
I have noticed my dog, misbehaves at stoplights in the back seat, sometimes barks, and what I get from people who are afraid is a lot of looks like that after they've been scared by something, and that's how they react, by wanting to fight me because my dog scared them. And
that look to me is, what the hell are you doing there?
Did your dog bite someone also? Like I see why you'd be afraid of that dog.
Yeah, that's Billy. So you're throwing to video there though that has everyone in it being happy. Everyone's thrilled, except for a Ken Rosenthal. We've never seen this side of Ken Rosenthal.
I mean, it's actually Ken Rosenthal's fault. He almost ran over that guy, and the guy fell. Like Ken Rosenthal should be apologizing.
Jeremy Taché, you are an up-and-coming sideline reporter who wishes one day to be all the things that Ken Rosenthal is, except for that. You are kind, you are sweet.
Thank you.
You are nice. How should he
I
have
would have
handled
loved
this
to catch
situation?
Jeremy doing this.
Is there an explanation? Can we forgive? Can we be compassionate for Ken Rosenthal in these trying times?
I think that the backing into the photographer and then giving that look is a like, what were you doing in my space? How do you not know to get out of the way? The look is a bad look for him. The going back and shaking his head, I think, is more of a, oh man, these guys and their celebrations, I can't believe that happened. I don't think he's shaking his head as like continuing to shame this photographer. But overall, how do you bump into someone and then not offer a hand to help them up? That's the part where it's like, the look, whatever. But you've bumped into someone, you've knocked them over, even if they were in your space.
Like, is everyone supposed to know that there's a 20-foot radius surrounding Ken Rosenthal that is his area?
There's also a universal sign for my bad.
Yes.
Like, you throw the hand out there.
Hold your hand out.
Just like any sort of like, hey, like, you're good. No, any gesture of, hey, that's on me.
No.
I got to go back to doing TV here.
No, I got to defend Bowtie here. The guy behind him was too close.
Oh, wow.
And almost tripped him up.
You flipped on this.
And furthermore, baseball all sports should outlaw the whole ice bucket thing.
Wow.
When the player is in proximity to a working member of the media.
So it was the player, his teammate, and the photographer's fault. None of Ken Rosenthal's fault.
Ken Rosenthal's doing his job.
Bowtie, as you call him.
He's looking the part.
The photographer was doing his job as well.
And, he's got a mic. He could be electrocuted by all that Gatorade.
What? Nope.
Nope.
Live television, when people are doing live television, they think they are in the middle of the most important thing. But Jeremy's telling you that there's not going to be an electrocution.
Our engineer just happens to be in the studio, and he's shaking his head at how stupid Greg Cody sounded.
Imagine Ken Rosenthal being electrocuted to death.
You don't have to imagine it. It wouldn't happen.
He'd just dismiss it. Like
that
would have
made news.
That would have been something if his last act had been to be furious with that guy and immediately die electrocuted on live television during a Brewers celebration.
That video would be gripping.
Can you guys go to Tony here, please?
Yeah, let's call him real quick. We'll end this hour with
Let's call Tony real quick and find out how he – just get all the Jags analysis here. I know, I'm telling you, Jags fans today are crushed by that loss. I don't understand how that happened to the Jags. Like, just maximum jagging.
Hello?
Tony, tell me how you're feeling in general today physically based on what it is that you're doing and also what happened with the Jags.
You know, I almost didn't answer this call, right? I was on the verge of looking at this number, and I was like, I think that's the number. I may have the number, and then I decided to pick it up, Dan. How am I feeling? Not great. Am I a little upset that the Jags lost to Jake Browning? A little bit. I also am a little excited because I think Jake Browning could be a serviceable.
Here we go again with this guy.
The point is that nobody grabs defeat from the jaws of victory quite like the Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't know what I can express to Trevor Lawrence to get him to stop doing things that cost him the ball game, right? Brian Thomas Jr., are you shying away from the ball? Do you want to be a number one receiver? Are the balls hospital balls? Is it everybody's fault? What are we doing here? What are we doing here? Joe Burrow goes down, okay? He's got people, the news is crazy. Is it an Achilles? Was it a broken ankle? What happened? It's his toe. Oh, we don't know what's going on. All of a sudden, Jake Browning comes in, who hasn't played in 17 years, right? Since the last time I said he was good 2 years ago. And then all of a sudden he comes in and looks better than Joe Burrow. How does that happen? How does that happen where you have a guy like Jake Browning come off cold and then continue to kick your ass, right? How does that work? It's under Anthony, not Tony. Sorry, we're ordering at Chick-fil-A. And by the way, the weekend was great. I had a great time at the bachelor party. Tired, but again, when you're kind of the biggest voice in Jags Nation, Duval County, they just laughed. They just laughed when I said Anthony. They laughed because they knew it was me, and they laughed about the Jags losing. So that's how I'm feeling, Dan.
Greg Cody, and that's how it was back in my day.
The game has changed. Weed is legal now with Stugotz and Greg Cody.
I'll tell a story if it makes you feel better.
Yeah.
When I first took the first edible I ever took was in New York, and at the time I was breaking the law. Okay, so now you can feel good about telling your story. And the guy told me, "Hey, just eat half of this."
Mm.
And so I ate half, and I waited, and I waited, and I waited, and I didn't feel anything. And he begged me just to eat half. And he did say on the front end it might take a while. But I was impatient.
Right.
Because when you smoke marijuana, you get instant gratification. And waiting an hour or two for something to kick in was not something I was familiar with.
Right.
So I ate another half, which became a full cookie. And 60 minutes later, I don't remember anything. I woke up the next morning on the floor in my wife's uncle's apartment because Abby had to throw me into a cab with her, and she took me home. And I was curled up in the fetal position, and I don't remember a thing after the second half of that cookie.
Wow.
This was last Wednesday. So, with that being said, feel free to share your story of you having 4 cookies in Colorado.
Yeah, I wolfed them down. It was 3 or 4. I didn't know
3
how.
or 4.
Yeah,
You don't ask. You don't say, "Hey, person I'm purchasing this from, how fast should I do these?"
The guy at the thing, and it was one of those official things where they dress like pharmacists in there, and they sold me a vial of edible cookies, and it was in Colorado, so it's 100% legal. And my wife and I are getting ready to go to dinner. We popped open the thing. She had a nibble of one, and I ate, I think, probably 2 or 3, and it hit me by the time we got to that restaurant.
I just love how terrified you are of this conversation. You keep throwing in there like it's perfectly legal what I did.
To be fair to Greg, this has not exactly been the most up and up thing to talk about for 60 years of his life.
Right, exactly.
This is a fairly recent phenomenon. We just go, oh yeah, everything's fine now.
No, and I don't, we did that because we were vacationing in Colorado, and I wanted to
Stop giving qualifiers.
I have to give a qualifier.
Greg, more qualifiers.
It feels better when you're doing it legally. It
right,
does.
I'm gonna. I don't smoke anymore. I mean, I don't do that. I did in
Totally
college.
lying, trying to make them feel better. I mean,
Thank you. Thanks for that.
getting away with it was much more fun. I mean, seriously.
I had my day doing that. So
we used to get dime bags at a place in Hillside, Queens. It was called the Tie Door. Oh, was it fantastic? You never saw the guy. You just saw his hand. You would see his
like
hand.
a first touch in a marriage?
Yeah, you would open up this little sliding door in Hillside, Queens. You would see his hand. He would see your hand. You'd never see each other. He'd put weed in your hand. You would put money in his hand, and that was it. That was a transaction. It was great. Called the Tie Door.
Weed first, then money?
Money first.
Oh, there
well,
you go.
it was like you would do it at the same time, but occasionally.
So you'd see both hands.
Yes, correct.
Once every 6 months, you'd hear stories of like some guy sticking his hand and then getting arrested on the spot. The cuffs right on the wrist. That's all you see, the wrist, and then.
I always wondered, is today going to be the day? Because I went every day. And it wasn't far from my house, but is today the day that it's going to be a cop on the other side of that door? I did. I feared that every single day, but it didn't stop me from going out there every single day. Hop, skip, and a jump.
Is that fear worth it?
Yes. The fear is what made it. Greg's right. Now you walk in, they're dressed like they're experts,
Right.
pharmacists.
Yeah.
It made me a little nervous. More nervous than meeting a guy at a tie door, never seeing him, just exchanging things in our hands.
That's right.
What happened to you after eating 3 or 4? Like, can you?
Back to you.
Yeah.
We went to a restaurant and, spent $300 on appetizers. And
Hell yeah.
And I remember, I'm not a fast talker. If anything, I'm a slow, deliberate talker who says a lot of ums and ahs.
Right.
My wife at that restaurant accused me of speed talking, of talking faster than I ever had in my entire life, which I wasn't even conscious of. So yeah, it hit me very hard.
All right.
Enjoyable though. I have no idea what I ordered for my main course.
3 or 4 though, man.
Yeah.
Are you sure you didn't do cocaine?
No, they were edible.
I've never had
cookies.
someone really high and be like, "This, you shut up, dude."
I know. Believe me, that was new to me too. Because normally you're talking like a 1970s, rock DJ.
Or is it possible that life had slowed down so much for your wife that by
It seemed like you were
were talking normally, but to her you were talking at an incredibly fast rate of
Could be.
speed?
That's possible. That's a possibility.
Oh my God.
Did the waiter walk up and you're like, "I ate edibles," because you're just like terrified?
No. Believe me,
It's legal here. I'm on vacation.
Believe me, I'm sure he sensed it. Working in that state and seeing somebody in that state.
I think I like the medium spicy ones the best here, although the dill pickle is also good. Which is your favorite
My
here?
movie theater sells pickles.
How much?
It was $2.99. Good deal.
I like the just classic salted. The good stuff.
Oh, you don't? Are there different kinds of spicy? Do they have a spicy and then a hotter than spicy one? Because I've got this at medium, and these are the best I've had.
They have hatch chili flavor. They got it's just so many options. And it's the Hampton Farms Nuttiest Fan, brought to you by Hampton Farms, the official snack nut of the tailgate.
Who's competing?
Vote for your favorite nutty fan at Le Batard Show on Instagram. We've had a few Alabama winners last couple weeks, so no more Alabama fans. You get out of here. This week we have Texas Tech fans competing against Georgia Tech. First, we have Texas Tech fans. Someone can explain this to me. Throwing tortillas in the air. It looks delightful. The announcer calls them tacos, even though they're not tacos. They're clearly just the tortillas. And why are they doing this? I love that they do this. You just see on the field now, do all the stores get sold out of tortillas the day before game day? I'm just intrigued by every part of this. Are you the security just allows them to bring tortillas in? Can I bring anything in?
So they've been doing this for a while, but you're nominating them for Nuttiest Fan because they're just they're wasting perfectly good tortillas. Tortillas are delicious. You shouldn't frisbee them in the crowd.
What's your favorite thing to do with tortillas? I like to
Eat them.
dip it in queso.
Texas Tech has been throwing tortillas on the field since 1992 after an ESPN announcer joked that Lubbock, Texas was nothing but Texas Tech football on a tortilla factory.
Well, there you go. So now it's a thing, and I love it.
Well, they were crushing Oregon State this weekend. I don't see the point of playing some of these college football games. Indiana and Indiana State, that doesn't seem like a nice thing to do to Indiana State.
Miami, what would be Miami's food, Mike?
What will we throw? Arepas. But can you tell me, though, what this is competing against? What is the tortilla competing against? That's not going to win. They've been doing it for 30 years.
This is well, it's still a wacky thing. It's very nutty. So to me, that can definitely win. Is there, in terms of just nutty things to do, that I say, hey, this happens, regardless of how long they've been doing it. That's a nutty thing to do. The other thing is Georgia Tech. They had a big win last week, and they brought their goalpost all across town. The journey of Georgia Tech's goalpost is what this is competing with. You see here, it starts in the stadium. It makes its way outside the stadium, all across town.
Oh, yeah.
It is just, this is nutty behavior. Look, this guy's riding the flagpole, so it's just very exciting.
I don't think that Georgia Tech at this point in its program's history should be that surprised by beating Clemson. This allows us, though.
Now it's leaving the stadium here, as you can see.
I believe Brent Key is 7-1 all-time outright against ranked teams, and the one loss came to Carson Beck in 6 overtimes last year.
You'll see they had a little bit of a difficult time getting the goalposts out of the stadium.
Mm-hmm. That's just an insane stat. They're Georgia Tech. They're not often ranked during this regime, but if they play a ranked team, Only one time, and it took 6 overtimes to kill them. They win outright.
They are very well coached, and it is startling to see a team that was doing the option offense in the name of, in the day of modern space age offense. Yes, Chris.
So it seems that the ending spot for this was the President's Mansion, the pool at the Georgia Tech's President's Mansion.
So can I ask you something?
Sure.
Why is it okay for students to steal things out of the football stadium and then throw it in the pool in the president's home?
Big win.
That's right. That's exactly why.
Yeah.
And that's a good reason. Because you don't just stroll into Bobby Dodd. Clemson learned. Other teams will learn. Miami learned last year. There is no place on the planet that I'd want to be at less than Bobby Dodd Stadium at noon.
To go from Paul Johnson to that, there cannot be another team in the country that's overachieving more than that one, given the athletes they're getting compared to what the athletes everyone else is
And it's
getting.
not like their offense is like crazy advanced either. It's just so college football. It's what makes it great. Haynes King, not going to have a career at the next level. Doesn't make all the throws. Certainly doesn't scream pro prospect. But in college football, that guy is a nightmare.
I did not see a better coaching job last year than Cam Ward, the best player in the country, losing to backup quarterbacks at Georgia Tech. But before we get to the Georgia Tech-Clemson game, the game in college football of the weekend, if you had to choose one, you got to choose one. Is it Notre Dame, Texas A&M, or is it the one that Zaz was at, Tennessee, Georgia? In that game, such a fun game, I felt bad for Georgia's defensive back when he gave up a 72-yard touchdown. He falls on the floor. Receiver runs into the end zone unscathed, and then they call defensive pass interference as well. They just throw a flag as well. You cheated, you fell on your face, and Tennessee's receiver went 72 yards with the football. However, every time Georgia got down in that game, they came back. They didn't have a whole lot of business winning that game, did they? Except that they're always going to win that game against Tennessee.
I feel like Tennessee is just like the ultimate choker team. Like you don't believe in them being able to pull it off. And heck, they were up 21-7 in the first quarter of that game. Building was going nuts. And then it was all there for them in the fourth quarter. Just make a kick.
And they got a procedural penalty, too, right before the kick, right?
Right, it moved them 5 yards back. And the kick was not even close, by the way. He pushed it so far right. But the thing was, the crowd started cheering, and they did the thing where the stadium flickers the lights because that means you won the game. But then the referees come out and say, no good. It's embarrassing.
Was that game better than Notre Dame, Texas A&M?
No. And with apologies to Jessica Smetana, there is no greater story in college football than Notre Dame taking 2 games to go from national championship hopes
done.
to, oh, my God, we're not even going to make the playoff.
Not done.
They're done.
Their
schedule's not good enough.
They've lost it 2 top 10 teams. They're not done. Notre Dame does.
I know,
this.
but the rest
they
of their
lose
schedule,
at the start
though.
of the year. They lose at the start of the year, and then they win the games, and the media make sure they're in that CFP conversation.
The thing you're forgetting, Zaz, is they're Notre Dame.
That's right.
But they don't have anyone left on their schedule.
But they're Notre Dame.
Quality losses are better than wins.
They don't even have to be in the top 4.
I mean, maybe
It's
you're right.
the reality of
no, maybe you're
the
right.
last
But that's
decade
so
of the playoffs.
dumb.
They can run the table. They'll be there.
It does not matter if you win games as long as you have good
A
losses.
2-loss Notre Dame with both losses coming to top 10 teams are there.
But
Hell, they may give them a bye if
But
that's
what
the
if they
case.
don't beat a single ranked team?
But they've won 10
They're Notre Dame.
straight.
And what you're saying is probably correct, and it's stupid.
All right. Well, thank
Yes.
you for admitting that
Yeah.
I'm probably correct.
I looked into this tortilla toss situation. So the Big 12 tried to ban before the season throwing of objects on the field with Texas Tech fans took as a direct shot at them and their tortilla toss. And they said, you know what? We're going to be fine. We're going to do it before the game. And surely the fans would not throw anything on the field during the game that would impact the play or hurt the team in any way. And even if they do, I think they have like 3 strikes before there's any like real penalties. There's just like monetary things. So the tortilla toss continues. Big 12 rules be damned.
It's as the kickoff to start the game is happening. So technically before the game.
That should be like running onto the field to celebrate. You should penalize the team. It should be a
Camera should cut away.
It
so
should
we
be a
don't see it.
$50,000 fine to the program whenever.
How would they come back from that?
Why are you looking down at your phone while
because
talking?
I'm being a professional journalist here, professional broadcaster. The one thing I agree with is that if any team is going to be allowed into the college football playoff with 2 losses, it's mighty Notre Dame because they want Notre Dame for the TV ratings. So, the team that deserves to be in the CFP more than Notre Dame doesn't have a chance.
Have you noticed that as you've aged, you outlaw and sanction and penalize more?
Yeah. Well, I should be the commissioner of all sports.
Yeah.
Wow. Sports needs an overarching commissioner with the whole umbrella. Like I could be the commissioner of everything imaginable. Pro
of everything
college.
imaginable. It's a big job.
Yeah,
I think you're up
it is
for
a big job. Well, I need a big staff.
Yeah.
You know, some say I have a big staff. I don't. I need a big staff, and that'll help me be the commissioner of all sports.
I think that what you're saying would be
Including
great
horse
because,
racing.
look, a couple weeks ago, I mean, Mike had a decision to make. Is he going to watch Inter Miami play for a championship or he's going to watch the University of Miami play? And if there was a commissioner of sports, surely someone would have caught on to the fact that in the same market you have two massive games that never would have been scheduled that way.
That's right. That's a good point by Billy. And I'd have been there to say UM wins that because Inter Miami continues to let us up, build us up, only to let us down.
Yeah.
3-0 loss
But you
to
you
Charlotte.
want to be the commissioner of everything the way Sepp Blatter was the president of everything?
Let me tell you, I like you. You brought me again into the FIFA. I stay with you. You have voted for me. Although they have voted for the Prince Ali, I congratulate you. It's a good candidate. But I'm now the president of everybody.
Yes.
So I'm the president of everybody.
Thank you.
There is no reticence. That's
Yes,
just
thank you.
president of the whole FIFA.
Yeah.
Voila.
Me and Sepp.
You know how my Miami Hurricanes tears were so appreciated by the fan base of this show? I would maybe be able to survive 3 quiet weeks, and then inevitably Miami would lose to like Virginia, and we'd go for 90 minutes on it. Your silence on the Miami Hurricanes front as a show collectively brings me such joy. And thankfully I have other outlets, so go ahead, keep ignoring them, because the ho-hum 40-point beatdown of a top 20 team is so routine around this place.
I want to ask you if this is the most balanced team since blank in a second, but just going back for a second to the Notre Dame-Texas A&M game. If I'm Notre Dame and you guys talking about them in the playoffs when they're 0-2 is certainly something. Seeing Notre Dame lose that way to a Texas A&M team, this is very rare to have a win on the road when all of these things happen. Your third down defense stinks. You throw an interception and you have a punt blocked for a touchdown. And you have 13 penalties. That's really rare to go on the road and beat a good team the way Texas A&M did when, again, block punt return for a touchdown, interception, 13 penalties, and can't get off the field on third down because your third down defense is terrible.
Notre Dame should not have lost that game. Texas A&M totally stole that game. Notre Dame was in control that entire game. Marcel Reed and them boys made the plays at the end. But look, they've lost 2 games, both by 1 scores. Both really good teams if you look at the AP and just what people are talking about. Like people, you just said this might be the most balanced Miami team in 20-plus years.
This is
Notre
why
Dame was impressive in fighting back.
Let me talk about this University of Miami team for a second because Ruben Bain is going to be a top 5 pick if he is healthy. That guy is not blockable, and those are super rare, obviously. The University of Miami, though, Mike is claiming that Carson Beck is better than Cam Ward. He's done this here for a little bit, and he said that he looked better this spring than Cam Ward did. And it's not that he's better than Cam Ward because he's not, but his receivers are better, his offensive line is better, and that offense looks like something you can trust to absolutely make the correct decisions, and it has a quarterback that if everything does break down on 3rd and 11 is really good with the throws he's making late with pressure right on him. He's done it through 2 games in a way that surprised me.
I don't know how you gauge the offensive line is better. They just have different approaches to it. Cam Ward reveled in the fact that he finally got protection. You could have argued that he had the best offensive line in the nation. The personnel is almost exactly the same outside of the center.
They broke out the RPO yesterday or on Saturday. I have not seen Carson Beck run around like that. I've not seen Miami do a lot of things that I look at and say they're out-coaching somebody else. But clearly South Florida was not prepared for a run-pass option from the quarterback.
Heavy sets, multiple backs in the backfield, a backup center wearing number 46 knocking fools out. There was a Riskovich getting playing time. This was a whole new running game that they installed that USF was clearly not prepared for. USF's a good team. That is not a bad team. We're just letting this beatdown change the narrative around USF now. They beat them all the way down to others receiving votes. That's as impressive a TCB victory.
Jeremy's cringing and holding his body and rubbing his arms.
Jeremy doesn't matter in this conversation.
He doesn't
Jeremy cannot speak on this. He doesn't know what good football looks like right now.
He was a national champion more recently than you.
That's right.
Jeremy, why are you soothing yourself with body language cues?
Because I hate both teams so much. And Mike's right. Like, they thoroughly dominated USF. USF did build themselves up against a really crappy UF team that Miami's also about to beat down. That was their big ranked win that they got to kind of build their resume on. But that is a good team. Like, they might be the G5 representative ultimately in the playoff, and that's why I stayed silent.
That's obviously a playoff team. Game day's coming to town this weekend, but if you've not seen Miami play, their receivers are a good deal better than they were. And the only reason I'm saying, Mike, the offensive line is better, whether the personnel is the same or not, is those pockets are safe. Those pockets are clean. Carson Beck is back there, and he's untroubled. Cam Ward did some loop-de-loops and was relaxed, but Carson Beck is throwing in a clean pocket. And
they both had clean. They just have different approaches. I won't let go of that. Of course, Cam Ward had the same exact quality offensive line. They just approached the game totally differently. And Cam Ward, I guess you could look at the receivers and say they're not making drops, but Cam Ward had veteran-laden wide receivers all over the place. He's doing this with C.J. Daniels, who was injured all year last year at LSU, a kid that should be in high school right now in Malachi Toney, whose instincts for the game jump off. When you watch him play, this dude just has a different feeling for the game. I haven't seen a wide receiver since Santana Moss that has such a great feel for the game. And he's got another true freshman in Joshua Moore making plays. So it's like these guys are rising with Carson Beck. And Carson Beck, I know that there's this narrative around him. He is a better runner than Cam Ward. And I love that they have that in their arsenal right now. But I will disagree on Florida being bad. They should have won a game in which they threw 5 interceptions in with DJ Lagway. Their defense is good enough to not get blown out ever. And I know Banks is out possibly for this game against Miami, but this is a big test for Miami. Championship teams win this game and take care of business. Pretenders, they fall for the rat poison this week. And this is a hated rival that is coming in to save their season. I think it's going to be a tougher game.
Carson Beck is now a close second in the Heisman balloting, or not balloting, but odds. Deserves to be. Miami's got 3 first-place votes now, moving up from 5 to 4. Deserves to be. I think this is – I've been a big fan of Mario's the whole 4 years. This is Miami's best team, better than 2017 in my opinion.
This is startling. Yes, that team rose to number 2, was undefeated, and then lost on the road to Pittsburgh. This is the most balanced University of Miami team I have seen in a while. Game day's coming. Florida is up next. Florida lost to LSU, and LSU has now played 3 straight games where they've held their opponent to 10 points or fewer. Obviously, one of those great athletic LSU defenses. But let's check in here with Brian Kelly. He continues to do things in press conferences that make people not like him. Let's try and get video that has sound on it so that we can hear what Brian Kelly has to say. Although checking out the arrogance via his body language, just leave it up there so we could just watch it and we can
hate the clip.
We could guess what he's saying. Just put it up there without the sound and do it as B-roll without audio so that we could just watch Brian Kelly do that.
What are you seeing with your offense?
Stop. Really? Is that the first question? We won the game 20-10. Try another question. What do you want me to tell you? I just laid it out for you. We played the game to win the game. We played the game to win the game.
All right. How about third down then? What is going on with third down?
It's one game. Last game, we were great on third down. You're looking at this from the wrong perspective. LSU won the football game. Won the game. I don't know what you want from me. What do you want? You want us to win 70-0 against Florida to keep you happy?
No, I think people want to know why you can't run the ball, quite honestly.
We can run the ball. Did you see the last play of the game? That's all you need. You just need one. There's ridiculous questions. And I'm getting tired of it.
Yeah.
That football team just worked their tail off to get an SEC win, and you want to know what's wrong. You know what? You're spoiled. You're spoiled. This team is 17-1 at night. 17-1. Give them some respect. How about that? Give him some respect instead of micro-analyzing every little thing. This is ridiculous. For a group of seasoned reporters, that kind of question is so out of line. This is ridiculous.
Likable chap.
Seriously.
I don't know what you want from me.
How about an answer?
Just answer the stupid question.
Actually, that'll work. That is better than whatever else he could have said. Isn't as good as that. That's what we want.
I don't know what you want from me.
Exactly that. Another reason to hate you more. That's exactly what I want every time I tune in. Thank you.
What do you want me to tell you?
Just sound like a jerk, please. Slow. Do it more slowly.
How about that?
I mean, their offense sucks this year.
It's been bad.
Their offense sucks.
Yeah, they're the bad offense so far. But I understand a big night game where over an SEC opponent against a hated rival in Florida. Maybe you don't want it to be the first question, but that guy was coming in really hot when he heard he was ready with the stop immediately.
It's not the worst press conference behavior I've seen from a leader in the last week, but only because I saw what boxing journalists did to Dana White for trying to change all of the Muhammad Ali rules that protect the fighter. It's a little different when the reporters aren't scared of you, Dana. It's a little different when they can undress you in public during your first boxing promotion because, again, you're trying to change the rules that are named after Muhammad Ali for protecting the fighters during a broadcast pay-per-view extravaganza where because I do want to talk about Crawford Canelo. Terrence Crawford has become one of the greatest fighters ever quietly somehow because I've only seen Floyd Mayweather do that to Canelo. But again, Canelo's second most undressed person in the sport compared to Dana White trying to answer questions from the boxing reporters on unequal pay because Conor McGregor, these are some numbers I can give you. Conor McGregor, $13.4 million, 13.4 million pay-per-view buys, made $150 million in MMA. In boxing, against Floyd, he had 4.3 million pay-per-view buys, and he made $100 million in boxing. And now Dana's trying to change the rules in boxing because he wants to make it the economy of the MMA where they abuse the fighters in exchange for pay in a way that's unreasonable. And finally, he's being asked some difficult question about it, as Ariel Helwani always has. But Dana bullies the MMA
This is
guys.
ridiculous.
How are these purses so big in boxing?
I don't know.
I don't understand it.
How do so many people care?
I don't.
They don't.
Who are
That's
these
the-
people
that's the
watching?
thing.
Who are these people watching? To give like Tyson Fury, $150 million for a fight. I don't. Who's watching this?
Yeah.
Well, how is this happening?
I don't get it.
I don't get it. Where are they getting this money?
Older people still have money, guys. The demo of boxing, the boxing still has an older demo, and those people still have money.
Not still. They have all of it.
I mean, the old people that say they can't
kept
figure
it.
out how to order something or figuring out how to order
Pay-per-view
and
we
pay.
figured out.
It's just kind of crazy that this thing that people in sports in this country that actually talk about the sports programming never talk about boxing. They don't the most they talk about is when a celebrity is doing it.
You're so right.
And yet you hear this is one of the richest athletes in sports because apparently people wanted to pay Anthony Joshua $200 million to go to Saudi Arabia and knock around some guy you're just hearing about. I don't get it.
Which part do you not understand about the business model that they were ahead of streaming?
The business model.
They were ahead of streaming. They get all your dollars because they put it all behind a paywall.
What is that? They were ahead on streaming? What does that even mean? No, they weren't. They were on DAZN.
They were ahead on pay-per-view.
I don't know anybody with DAZN.
Boxing's had pay-per-view since Ali was fighting Foreman, right? Because that's when I really followed the heavyweights. I used to buy pay-per-view.
It was on closed circuit TV, right?
Floyd Mayweather is one of the greatest businessmen in the history of sports because he figured out long before anyone else how to own all of his own shit with pay-per-view. It's gaming the system. Everyone's now figured it out, but when Mike says nobody talks about boxing, he's not wrong, but it's all because the partners are all basketball and football related.
Yeah, but I think the question that they're trying to ask is, so when you put these fights on Netflix, how is Floyd still making $150 million when no one really cares and they only watch it because it's free?
Because Netflix is getting into the live sports game. What happened there, Greg?
There was a mishap.
Greg, but you ate the entire bag of peanuts?
In fairness, it was a small bag.
Yeah.
Fairness to who?
It's good, great peanuts.
Damn good peanuts.
I wish there were more. It tastes like more, as my dad used to say when he liked something.
Wild Bill.
Yeah.
I'd like to see the numbers. Netflix doesn't.
Oh, they're
going to
give you some
its
bullshit.
numbers.
800 gigaseconds were watched. It's like, great, perfect, amazing. 800 billion gigaseconds were watched across. Like, oh my God, a new record. It's like, well, because no one measures anything in gigaseconds. What are we talking about here?
You're not going to believe this. It sets a new record for Netflix.
Wow.
And the numbers we keep entirely internal, and we just let you know which we want you to know.
You guys think that Netflix put on a boxing promotion because it doesn't make money? Because it's
because Netflix famously a company that does things to make money. They spend crazy amounts of money on content and haven't actually finished in the black yet as a company.
But you think it's a bad investment for them to do Crawford and
Look,
Canelo?
I work in sports media. Spend all the money you want. Spend all the dumb money that you rationalize. But we don't know the new signups that we have for this. And hopefully someone forgets that their credit card is on file for several months.
I didn't even think about that fight on Saturday.
Yeah, it's not on my radar.
It was if Jake Paul and Canelo, maybe.
Okay, but you guys, that's how you guys consume this stuff. But there's an entire sport that people do love that you guys don't love, and I do understand how it is the media partners have made this. It's just going to be basketball and football, but you get awfully pissed when they don't do hockey correctly, and you have for many years when they don't do hockey correctly because your sport isn't the one represented. But I hear from our audience every time we're talking hockey, the way that some of them would like us to be talking boxing or baseball when we never do, because it's not like this group doesn't have narcissistic opinions about what that was a giant fight this weekend, and Terrence Crawford deserves to be revered as one of the best pound-for-pound fighters ever because what he just did to Canelo Alvarez was an absurdity. Neutralized one of the great fighters of all time, wasn't able to use his strength advantage, even though Terrence Crawford was essentially coming up 3 weight classes. After Floyd and Pacquiao, these are the 2 guys in boxing, but you guys don't care about it. You'd rather talk about Jake Paul.
And I'm sorry, who is Terrence Crawford? Yeah.
Could be a big fight, but also like there's a big match at the Fronton on Friday. No one's talking about that either.
Best draw in highlight history.
We can talk about that with expertise. When it comes to boxing, I don't know enough about the sweet science. I can't break it down. I just go one guy hit the other guy harder and hurt him more. Yeah. I'm pretty cut and dry. And I like seeing 2 guys fight. Don't get me wrong. I even like boxing. I'd say upper quadrant in terms of people that work at Metalwork that like combat sports, me. But does nothing.
The most famous boxer of all time is famous for trying to not get hit. Okay, cool, boring.
Since Pacquiao and Floyd, these are the 2 guys. They've dominated the era.
Jake Paul's the guy.
Yeah, we don't care.
Doesn't do anything for me.
Okay, I'm glad we talked about it.
But
Let's get back to college football.
Guys got some spark.
Unda and Robin. What a double steal.
Did you guys, let me talk about a bad beat here.
Something about him.
That will entertain all of you. Did you guys see the bad beat at the end of Penn State Villanova? Where Penn State, is favored, and the over is the total is 48.5, and you've got Penn State in the game is up 52-0. Okay, Penn State's up 52-0, and the spread is 48.5. Villanova at the end of the game has 4th and goal. And the last play is from the 7-yard line. And the quarterback on 4th and goal spins out and goes beyond his own 25-yard line, then headed toward the sideline.
It's kind of like the Cam Newton, the Cam Ward play.
Just sort of throws the ball against his body toward the back of the end zone where the Villanova receiver makes a catch with one hand to get the touchdown as the clock expires, and Penn State does not cover. While favored by 48.5. Greg, have you?
And the ball just kind of like dropped into the receiver.
It was
there were defenders there.
It was really unbelievable.
He wasn't open.
If you had Penn State minus 48.5.
That's a kick a hole in the TV
That ball's
game,
in the air, and you're feeling good about it, even still.
Right.
You're
like, that's not going to be caught.
You're like, this is fine.
No, but this is the nightmare scenario. The only way you can lose in a way that really hurts is for the quarterback to go to his own. It goes back 20 yards.
There has to be chaos.
And gets a one-handed catch from the receiver that was better than either one of the catches DeAndre Hopkins made yesterday.
Don't look now, but Penn State hasn't covered a single game this season.
Let me ask you guys, whoever here knows more about betting than me, which is most of you. Didn't the 48.5 point line used to be off the board?
No, not in college. Not in
Money
college
line would
sports.
be off the board in that situation.
Like, what is the biggest point spread you would see?
You'll get a 50. You'll
There
get
are
a
a couple
50.
50s.
Really?
Alabama will play games that have, and
55,
Georgia.
I think I've seen before.
But that's new though, right? Back
No.
in the day, I don't think that was the case.
No, college football pretty routinely has 50-point spreads. I don't know why Indiana and Indiana State would play that game. Like, I understand it's an in-house rivalry, but I felt terrible for
That's
Indiana
how
State.
Cignetti rolls. He made the playoffs doing it this way. Look at their out-of-conference schedule for the next 3 years. It's ridiculous.
And then he'll talk all tough. I don't know what Miami's doing down there, but we do things a different way down here. We're bootstraps.
Shut up. You win within the schedule margins.
The teams
He dyes his hair.
of no.
Oh,
no.
Come on, like he doesn't.
no.
Who's gonna? Anybody want to take the stance that Kirk Cignetti doesn't dye his hair?
This is ridiculous.
I dare you. I dare you to come out and say that he does not dye his hair.
You're the expert at these matters around here.
You work for Saban.
You're
You get more than just, coaching wisdom there. It has to look a certain way.
We are in agreement that Clemson has now been removed from the list as we're looking. I'm assuming we're doing this with Alabama as well. You tell me. Of the last 10 years, the teams that have dominated have been Ohio State and Clemson and Georgia and Alabama. Whoever's number 5, I guess we can put Michigan. Can we put Michigan in there? Whoever's number 5, I think in terms of dominance over 10-year periods, some of these schools have now fallen, correct? We're not pushing. We're not going to put
maybe LSU would be 5.
Michigan. We're not going to put Michigan in this class anymore. Now, we are not going to put Clemson anymore in this class, right? No. Now, Georgia though remains in this class because of Georgia going to Tennessee, winning that game. The gulf is gone, right, between the space between Georgia and everybody else. Alabama, we taking them out now? Are you taking your
Unless in 2 weeks they go to Athens and they beat Georgia, then I'll put them back in.
Parity's here.
Yeah.
I mean, Ohio State doesn't. It's not looking like parity given what Ohio State has done recently.
I think that Ohio State only made the playoffs last year to win the national championship because it expanded to 12. Like last season's playoff teams, 2 losses, 2 losses, 3 losses, 2 losses, 2 losses, 2 losses. Like parity's here if you want to say it based on record because there was only one undefeated team last season headed into the playoffs, which was Oregon, and they got bounced early.
Ohio State has beaten top 7 teams, like 7 of them, lost to Michigan in the middle there, but they have, for the moment, it's Ohio State more than Georgia, correct?
Yeah.
On how you guys are feeling about a program's ability to actually throttle everyone else. We can talk about parity, but not since Ohio State was winning the championship with its 3rd-string quarterback do we have an Ohio State team here where you might not think that Ryan Day can win big games, but he's beaten the last top 7 or better ranked opponents that he's
That's
played.
a dye job right there.
He can't be Michigan. He almost lost his job last year.
It's crazy.
He would have, if he even win the national championship, he probably would have lost his job. And I believe that actively he has the best win percentage as a college football coach. He has historically good win percentage as a college football coach.
He might have lost his job last year if they simply hadn't expanded the playoffs, right? He might have lost as soon as he lost to Michigan. That would have ended his job last year.
What if he lost in the national championship game to Notre Dame?
It would have been a close call. If he would have lost the round before, he probably still would have lost his job.
He been trying to get out of there for years.
Where do you think he wants to go?
He wants to go to the next level. Some guys just hate this college life. No, he's got the security of a national championship. Let them fall on their faces here. It'll be right back again. And
is that a happen to know? I haven't heard that. Is that something
I
that's
guess
been?
sometimes. That's a casual happen to know.
Wait a minute.
He wants to go to the next level.
Oh my God, he knows. He happens to know. Come everyone, come and listen. Happens to know. He happens to know.
I don't think that's known that Ryan Day wants out of Ohio State.
I mean, he wants to go to the next level. As soon as all this stuff happened in college.
What does he want to do at the next level?
Yeah,
he wants to
good
be a head
question.
coach in the NFL.
Really? Not work his way
Yeah,
up?
the NFL knows that if they want Ryan Day, he's there.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that might be news to Ohio State fans who might not want to think about him that way.
I don't think they appreciate him fully. Well informed. Just going to go on the record and say that. I don't think Ohio State knows what they have in Ryan Day.
What do they think they have?
They're taking him for granted. Let me tell you what. When I've gone through those streets of Columbus, I can see this is a group of people that doesn't really appreciate what
When's the last time you were in the streets of Columbus?
It's been a minute. It's been a minute. But when I was there, I didn't get the feeling that there was a lot of appreciation for him. Also, like in terms of parity, there's also basically just 2 conferences now, so they all have to play each other, so they're all going to lose games.
What am I to do with that Georgia result, though? Because I feel like Georgia's obviously come back to the pack in a way that whatever the distance was, these things are hard, right? Nick Saban had this distance between him and everyone else, and then Georgia took it. In the middle of it, Dabo was in there, even though Clemson's been bad the entire time Clemson's existed, except for one other year before Dabo took over. But what am I to do with that Georgia result? You go into Tennessee, you win that game that way, you're still Georgia. You're still regarded the way that I regard Ohio State.
I think you applaud their resiliency. Yeah. And you also take a different look at Tennessee. Still early in the season. I don't know what to make of a lot of these
I feel pretty
results.
good if I'm Tennessee. I mean, it's a super bitter loss, but I guess I think Georgia is still really good. And Tennessee, like those 2 quarterbacks were both awesome.
It's pretty clear that you upgraded at quarterback despite your offseason being totally taken over by Nico's decision to trying to leverage the school.
Saw UCLA fired Sean Foster.
Yeah, Nico could end up right back in the portal because kids from UCLA and Virginia Tech, they now have a 30-day window in the transfer portal where they can transfer, and we haven't played 4 games this year, so they can all redshirt.
The chili is better than the spicy.
Yeah, and you see on the Hatch chili, they have a heat spectrum, and there's like a dot for mild, and medium's in the middle. There's a flaming logo right here at hot, which suggests we're on the far end of the hot spectrum.
Nick Wright was sent 60 pounds of peanuts. We're literally paying him peanuts.
How's he going to spin the Chiefs 0-2?
Overpaid.
How do you spin the Chiefs 0-2?
He'll find a way.
No, but how?
Hurt. They're hurt, and they've played good teams.
No Rashee Rice.
No receivers.
No Worthy, no Rashee Rice.
Did you guys give me a third biggest story from the weekend in pro football? Burrow, are you agreeing with me that Burrow's broken toe and the Chiefs 0-2 are the big 2 stories?
Yes.
Yes.
So what's third?
Maybe Daniel Jones.
Taylor Swift having like her outfit blocked from the media. Arriving at the game yesterday.
Cowboys not being as bad as we thought they'd be.
Cowboys are a good story.
If you're watching on video, you're seeing it right now. They just literally brought a wall to block the media.
If you don't want to be seen, don't go to the game.
Right.
Like, I don't understand.
Ridiculous.
I'm not going to lie. I am very
Look
pro
at this.
Taylor with almost everything. And, like, look, as she moves, you see them walking with the wall.
That's ridiculous.
Well, what could it be? Like, what? She hasn't done that previously.
Right. I don't know. Like, was it a special outfit? Did they show her?
Was she naked?
I didn't see her at all during the game.
Maybe
honestly,
she was naked.
Yeah, probably.
I bet she was.
I mean, it begs the question.
No, it's a great question.
No, she did this, though.
I'll bet she was naked.
She did this.
Okay, victim blaming.
No, but she did this to us. We're the victims
Yeah,
here.
we're the victims. We didn't get to see Taylor.
If she just walked normal, we would have seen what she was wearing.
She shouldn't go to the game naked.
Taylor Swift nude.
It begs the question.